Mic check. All right. Welcome all. Tell a friend, we're live. Let me get my fantastic PDF up. Look at that. Voila. Magic. Welcome to the Betterment Broadcast. I'm your host, Brother Raven, also known as Rap Raven. This is the 223rd broadcast where Black people come together to try to find solutions on Black issues. That's right. A whole broadcast dedicated to fixing Black issues. Big up all brothers in the house. Big up Brother Leon. Big up everyone listening live and those who listen in future times when it's recorded. There you go. What else we're dealing with? So, Black Betterment Building. If you have an Instagram page and you're not following Black Betterment Building, please do. I'll put it in there right now. Tell your friends to tell a friend to follow it. It's how we promote the show. Not doing a great job doing it, but I promote every week. All right, so let's start as we always start. How do we always start? We start by talking about the triple tragedies. That's right. What are those? One is white supremacy, the belief that white people are superior to those of other races and thus should dominate them. White supremacy. Anti-Black racism, prejudice, hostility, discrimination, or racism towards people and cultures of African and the African diaspora, the Black culture worldwide. And the Ma'afa, kidnapping, genocide, segregation, enslavement, colonization, and brainwashing, plus sabotage, all those things that happen and continue to happen, that is the Ma'afa. And those three things are working in tandem, have worked in our past, and thus in tandem today, we have the double dilemma, which is we are despised and we are disorganized. That's right. If you didn't know, now you know. You know, we're despised. Black people may know a friendly non-Black person. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Very shocking statement. Prove me wrong. And Black people can be individually efficient, but are collectively inadequate. And hopefully, we can demonstrate that by this show. Big up on code as well, all the brothers and sisters in the house. Hopefully, we can demonstrate that today. Because when you accept what you are, when you accept the position you are collectively in, then you have more of a drive, motivation to try to fix it. And that's why we always highlight these shortcomings, you see. Because if we don't acknowledge it, we'll never fix it. That's right. That is right. All right. So let's carry on. Next one is, Daisy. So down, not up. This thing's messing about again. There it is. Single solution. Sorry. And that is Black Betterment is a lifestyle. So we promote the lifestyle of Black Betterment, which is a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. This sounds very simple, doesn't it? But you'll be surprised how this doesn't actually exist. Not really, and not in its entirety. No. And this is the Imhotep. I was going to say Einstein, but we're going to say Imhotep moment of how Black people are going to actually progress, and that is to culturally have a lifestyle, something we teach from young to old, of dedication to Black Betterment. Dedication. So. This thing up is down, down is up in this thing. Yeah, so that means the three main areas we focus on of the Malengo is Black families, Black economics, and Black health. Those three things, if we can have a culture of having Black men and women dedicated to those three things throughout their entire life, make it a cultural phenomenon, make it a fantastic practice element, branding and all that good stuff, then you will see change. Remember, you heard it here first, or second or third, but nevertheless, you heard it here. Let's do that. So, let's go on to today's fantastic. Oh, don't forget, we sent out a link if you want to jump on. Don't forget discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Especially when we talk about very, very touchy kind of subjects. Those 4D values will be very helpful. Unfortunately, with Black people generally, when you look at collective groups, Arabs, European or white, Asian, Oriental Asian or Indian Asian, or any grouping you see in mass grouping. I have not seen a group that is more traumatized than Black people, Afro descendants, Africans, whatever terms we use. I haven't seen that really. That's why we need special treatment, you see. Special treatment, and that special treatment is Black Betterment. And one way is, recognizing that we're talking to people who are going through a current trauma. So try to have some dignity, discipline, dedication, and discernment when you do that. It's very challenging. but I recommend it strongly. And you see when we have guests on here, we try to uphold that. There we go. So, 3 topics today. What are the 3 topics? The 3 topics are woke LGBT. I didn't put the Q in there. Sorry about that. I should have put the Q in. Well, you know what it is. And the plus and all the other stuff. Media strategies. We discussed the intentions of the LGBT media projects and why Black people will be included in the backlash. What does that mean? We'll find out. Also, part 2, Black men's ignorance and awareness of colorism. We discussed the reaction to the UK rap song that highlights a history of colorism. There's a rapper called Kreps. I think he's from a group called Kreps and Conam. He became a very important rapper in my books, just like Swiss did, because he's made a song about the importance of being a father and him looking after his daughter. So 10 points to him. And I think I don't think he's with his girlfriend, but I think they had like a business for children's products. So they still do, I don't know. But well done to that brother. There. And also, last but by no means least, Glad Africans versus Sad Africans. We discuss how grouping continental Africans is a good strategy, to unite with Africa. I've done it before, but we'll pack it again. So, those are the topics. What we're going to do, as we always start, while people get ready to come home from wherever they are to maybe log in and all that good stuff and contemplate jumping in, we just have a little rundown of videos that have been seen throughout the week. And we give a Black Bearman perspective on it. Let's just start with Malcolm X. It's always good to start with a brother, this kind of brother.
Practices what it preaches.
Oh, yeah.
Russia practices what it preaches. Franco Spain practices what it preaches. It's a dictatorship. It doesn't preach freedom. South Africa doesn't preach freedom. Russia doesn't call itself the leader of the free world. It's America that looks upon herself and represents herself as the leader of the free world, while she has 20 million Black people here who aren't even citizens. 20 million Black people here. How can you and your government leaders stand up in the United Nations and point the finger at South Africa for practicing what it preaches? It preaches apartheid and it practices apartheid. It preaches the inferiority of the races, and it practices the inferiority of the races. Whereas you preach one thing and practice another thing. You say that this is a land of equality, and 20 million of your Black citizens, so-called citizens, don't have equality. You say that this is the land of freedom, and 20 million Black people here don't have freedom. You say that this is the land of justice, and 20 million Black people here don't have justice. And the government, from the Supreme Court, the Senate and the Congress and the President on up or down, is not able combined to bring about any change in the attitude of white America toward Black America.
Big up brother Malcolm X there, talking about, you can criticize other countries, but they pretty much wear on the sleeves what they are. But, around the diaspora and in America and places like that, they say one thing, but they do something else. Very interesting. It was good to start with a quote from Malcolm. Let's see what else we have to break down. Daughters, no, what's this one? No, don't tackle that. Ali, once again, let's go to, this is a very good, this was back in the 70s. See how TV was back then. So it's good to see how celebrities were back in the day versus today. We're going to also tap into celebrities on one of our topics, so it's good to see that.
You look so...
I don't like his arrogance. I think...
You don't like...
No,
that's because I'm Black.
No, sir. No.
You don't like a nigga talking like this. The white people.
Oh, I beg your pardon. No.
I don't want to... All Black people don't cut up what you're saying. You mean white people know. Listen, woman, everybody Black watching this show knows why you don't like the way I talk. You don't like a nigga talking to you like this. Never done that like this before.
Sir, I
know what it is. Don't tell me what you don't like. You don't know who you're talking to.
What I don't like.
I don't care what you don't like. Just buy a ticket and see me get my butt whooped.
No. Listen, I'm in a minority in this country here.
What's your minority?
I'm from England.
You're a minority. You're from England. You own England.
We see that a lot, that kind of, and we're going to tackle that as well in the woke LGBT minority kind of stuff, where Europeans, they want to be minorities, and this is an English person telling Muhammad Ali she is a minority.
You own England and America. You white. You can go anywhere in this city you want to go. Are you from England? You more free than me. You from England. Didn't you say you're a minority? You know you can go to towns, move in neighborhoods. You can buy things over. You can open a business downtown Chicago and do business, and I can't do it. But you from England. Now you got some nerve to come over and be mad at me because I'm proud and I want to fight and be confident and get my people to be proud and fight and do. We the minority too. We've been a minority for 400 years, and you freer than me. You from England. You are freer than me, and everybody know you. How many of you white people here truly believe that she's not as free as me or any black man? She can open up a shop downtown. He can't even rent a store. You can. Don't compare yourself with no black man.
Powerful, man. Muhammad Ali, very one of probably the most iconic sports celebrities. We have to have a campaign to try to get sports celebrities more conscious, just so they can, do better than they're doing, and understand the importance of black betterment. We got that brother there, very important, brother, very important. All right, what else we got? Let's see. There's other things going on. Let's see. This teamwork. Sounds good to hear about teamwork.
The Latin community, they don't move as a fragmented race and culture. That's why they own everything. That's why they buying up all of the businesses. The Asian community, they don't move as a fragmented culture. That's why they buying up everything. Now, white people got that same blueprint. And yet, this is what's scary, boys and girls. We are the most powerful, influential race, period. Not by net worth, not by politics, culture. You know how many things has been done to us to beat the shit out of this smile, and I'm still smiling. The resilience of black culture after every attempt to kill and literally get rid of us, wipe us off the face of the fucking earth, and we still smile, still in the videos dancing, still influencing what they're wearing, what they're doing, what the direction that they're deciding to move in. We're not watching them the way they watching us, but they got their shit together, so they always gonna win.
We got a brother there, singer, famous singer. He's saying that he can observe that many other cultures are not as fragmented. They move better as a unit, and he longs for that to happen. Big up, brother Dominic, a very important contributor today. But despite that, the brothers in America are still moving on strong. And I guess what they need to do is first get more unified and also value black families. Make sure that they value the black man, the black woman, very important, as we're going to tackle today's topic as well. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. All right, what else? Speaking of black men and black women, let's see what this is interesting. Let's see this.
You will let your daughter date a black guy?
Yes, sir.
You still feel that way?
You know what? It's not that I feel that way. It's just I wanted to shed light to a lot of homes in the San Gabriel Valley, East LA, shit like Latino communities that have been like that. And I'm the one that's trying to break that barrier. But at the end of the day, if my baby girl's happy with an Asian, with a white, with a black guy, I'm not going to beat her down for it. That's cool. But my preference would be that she be with a man of my skin color. Am I wrong for that?
Right, but you're half white.
Yeah, just Latino. I was raised Latino.
Okay, but you're half white. You're just as white as you are Latino, right? Let's just keep it 100.
I'm an essay. Like, all my tattoos, I got Sureño across my face. Like,
I understand that, but but your DNA is half white. So if your daughter dated a straight white guy, would you have any problem with that?
Man, I don't.
Because she
you know
is.
What? You're getting me there because I never looked at myself like I'm white. I never did.
Right.
I'm an essay. Like I'm not tripping. I was raised Spanish. Hablo español con mi abuelita y mi mamá. Así me enseñaron. My dad never raised me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm the skin color of my mom and my grandma.
I think he might be some kind of rapper, but I wish him well. I think he looks like he might be on something. But I think he went viral side because he said he didn't want his daughter marry a black man particularly. Well, we covered this last week that many people, the black people, the go-to race when it comes to stay away from, don't do that. There should be no anger towards any group that doesn't want to be with black people. Remember, it's always a blessing. It's a blessing to know how people think, but it doesn't matter, regardless of whether he was pro or against black people. The primary choice that you want for all your black daughters and sons is to be black man and black woman come together. Also, I don't, the brother, I don't know what he's doing, if he's okay mentally, but hopefully his family ain't similar that kind of way. But there's no love lost there. What I'm saying is that don't get angry at this kind of stuff. It just should enforce you to say that you love your own people, do your own stuff, and to the extent if as a man is respectful, he doesn't want his daughter to marry into your group, that's fine. If he's respectful, there's no issue. It should be a non-fact in the sense of we value black men and black women coming together, so we don't need to stress about other community groups and their beliefs and non-beliefs. So there's some history about how black people are treated in the hospital.
77 years old, and I'm a retired nurse. Back in the 60s, I was working in a hospital where we were told to deliberately allow the black patients to pass away. It was a terrible and discriminatory practice, but I followed orders. Now, I live with regret and have frequent nightmares about it. It has affected me greatly. I have trouble sleeping at night, and I feel guilty for not standing up against such injustice. I have carried this burden for years, and I don't know what to do about it. This is the first time I have shared this with anyone. My husband was a firefighter, and he too was told to allow blacks to burn.
It's reading something from someone who passed. I think I wasn't too sure. It's about in America, and obviously all over the world, but at certain points, obviously black people were not prioritized in most things, so it was quite a dangerous thing. And today as well, there's a change in so many areas. Not very shocking stuff, but people knew. We'll not play that. Not that. Let's see. This is the last one. Then why not? Let me play this. Then we'll move on. I'll play this and then we'll move on. So this is one more before we move on.
You got hair, you got the beard. They like, nah, we ain't putting him in no clean cut spot.
See, this is what happened. Black people themselves have been vilified for just being black through years and years of programming. The way to program is to use images. Like right now, if you're not a gay guy or a criminal, you really ain't getting on the screen as a black man. Like one of my favorite shows is Yellowstone, because all the men are just straight masculine. Like it ain't no funny shit going on.
Are they black men?
No, they white.
Hell no.
All the women are straight feminine. Even the hardest, toughest woman on the show, that's the craziest, when her man come around, she gets right back in her femininity. Ooh. She get right back in her feminine role. When you see the men, they straight masculine, just old school cowboy, just straight men to the core. Like, I love that show. And I'm go, damn, why can't we ever have a show like this? To where the men are just the men and the women are just the women and they coexist. It's if we got men and women is, okay, he's having an affair, she having an affair, he's secretly gay, he beating her ass. It's never just a positive image of us.
Like of us just being normal people. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you answer your own question, because this is the program that they want you to look like. The strong white man. You know what I mean? Masculine, got the morals, got the principles, and take care of his family. They act like we don't do that. They don't show you that.
The brothers are talking about they watching some cowboy show, and in there, there's masculine men and feminine women, and family oriented, all that kind of stuff, whatever. And he's going, he's not seen that many black shows that does that at all. And he's right. But I think once again, this has to motivate you to control your media and make that kind of stuff, because no one's going to do it better than you, and they're not going to represent what you want to represent at all. So that was interesting. All right, cool. We're going to start the show. Big up King Kojo has joined us. Feel free to jump in whenever you like, brother.
Yes, Wayman, how you doing?
Super good to see you here, fam. So it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to start now. Let's go to the actual topics at hand, and we'll go to screen. It's this one. There we go. So let's start with the woke LGBT strategies. Yeah, that's the smaller one. Maybe the glad African and South African one. We'll quickly do that one. So let me see what I've got. Have I got anything? Where does this come from? Let me see if I can even find the glad African, South African imagery. Probably miss it. Right, so where is this? So as you know, throughout the years, there's always going to be a diaspora war and diaspora disagreements and tribalism here and this there we go. So sad African and glad Africans. So what what we're trying to see here is black people are very prone for fighting, even within inner ethnic group and out ethnic group and inner tribes and outer nations. So we have to have a way of processing it to minimize arguing and to minimize civil wars and stuff, right? So one way we're thinking of doing it is to every ethnic group, every tribe, every nation, is to understand that within that group you're going to have the sad versions and the glad versions, right? So if you look at if you think of people from Africa, for example, if someone from Africa comes to England or comes to America, comes to Canada, and they don't want to unite with the locals or the indigenous blacks or whatever it is, and they have a disdain, what you want to do is rather than tarnish their entire nation or their tribe or their group as the same thing, you just understand that these are the sad Africans, these are the glad Africans. You have to understand that in the time of enslavement, there were Africans who were fighting against the colonizers, and there were Africans who were fighting with the colonizers. And obviously, the Caribbean and the Americans who were taken from there, so we're the same people. But obviously, there are some people who are Euro-minded. So rather than tarnish the entire group, split them up as into this is a sad African, i.e., this is an African that when he sees other Africans do well or whatever, he shows a sad element, a sad spirit. And then there's the Africans when you meet them and they want to be helpful and stuff, they show a glad spirit. So let's go through some videos to see where this comes from. And let's see if I can find any videos.
Let's go.
Let's go. So let's start with this bit. This is I see him. He's making a name for himself. I don't know his name.
Okay.
Piss me off, especially African Americans. Now, you see, there's a sense of over entitlement and expectations that the world owes something to these people, right? And I say these people because it's not more of a mindset thing than an actual skin color, right? African Americans have convinced themselves, and I find that to be so narcissistic, that the whole world is against them. How narcissistic can you be to think that every living person is living their life to bring your dumb? How? People don't give a about the skin color you have on your body. That's the reality of the world today, especially today where we don't have black and white bathrooms anymore. We don't have black and white trains anymore. Slavery happened everywhere in the world with every nationality, every color, every gender, every race.
So I don't know his brother's name, but I don't know where he's from. But there's a thing called like rage bait and clickbait and stuff. And I suspect a lot of these brothers who are trying to make a name for themselves, they talk the way they talk to do that. Every time I've seen this individual, he's usually talking to a European person negatively about African Americans. So there's always going to be a kickback. Let's see if there's. This is the second one I saw of him. Same individual.
People stole black people. White people just paid for it. My great-great-grandmother was.
So even in the tone, yeah. So if you want to reduce the enslavement of Africans to black people, so black people, the white people just pay for it. This already shows you what side of history there is. Remember, because without proper defense and this kind of stuff, you always get these individuals come from wherever they come from, and they'll get a following or a clique just by being contrary to be contrary, to try to say very strong stuff with a straight face like it's some kind of science.
Sold by her father to another black man, who then sold her to who became her husband and had kids. Not a white person in sight. So while people are being stuck on, especially when I hear this.
Once again, this black and white thing, we're talking about institutional racism. We're talking about Europe, America, the institutions that's there. They profited for 400 years over kidnapping, killing, raping people of African descent, to which have become ethnogenically new people, i.e. African Americans or Afro-Jamaicans or Afro-Dominicans. No reparation has been paid to those groups, but there has been paid to other groups, and because of that, they're saying they want reparations, or they want to highlight that there will never be proper kind of like mental peace until these things are acknowledged. But once again, this individual, wherever he's from, no doubt they're trying to make a name for himself with his new ideas.
Dumb thing as reparations for slavery. I'm like, dude, slavery was everywhere in the world. Yeah. There was slavery in the Arab world, in the Persian world, in the Greek world, in Europe. White, blonde, blue-eyed Polish people were slaves to Germans. White, blonde, blue-eyed Germans.
So once again, a black man talking to a white man, trying to assure them that I'm not going to rock the boat, and even his eyes, you can kind of tell he's really into
Germans. So what are you talking about? Like slavery is something that only black. You guys play too much.
No black person says that black. See, once again, the logic is like me saying my granddad was beat up by the police, and then someone goes, "You're gonna like to say that your granddad's the only one who's been beat up by police." But no. What we're saying is my granddad was beat up by police. We want to take them to court. We want to get them arrested. We want compensation. We want the media to know that my granddad was beat by police, not that, oh yeah, everyone's granddad's beat by police, so it's not a story. I think that's where this gentleman's trying to take it. Once again, when you unpack the argument, once again, is a black man African, I don't know what country or whatever, talking to a European man, so there will be no pushback. But we're highlighting that within the black diaspora, there's glad Africans and sad Africans, and unfortunately, this brother might be a sad African. I suspect very sure.
Respect racism. Yeah. As long as you're a competition, you're a threat. And as long as you're a threat, somebody will try to do something to remove you. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. And on the opposite side, as long as you can add value, doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, you will be appreciated or recognized.
Right. The thing with these individuals is, you ask them what's their views on black families, black economics, black wealth. They're not really into, I assume, that kind of. Usually when I speak to them, they have no real interest in that kind of stuff. So it really shows you what mindset they're at. They don't see a value in black people come together. They already from the default have been conditioned to be unsynchronized with any kind of element that works in black people's collective best interest. So that's that brother there. Let's see if there's one more. Let's see. I think there's a few more. I haven't heard this one properly, but let's hear this one. I think this one might be, and this might be no one else would have done. Let's check this out.
Yeah, racism to you. You think if Japanese were held slave in this country, they'll turn around and buy each other? You think if Jews were held as slaves in this country when it was over, they'll turn around and buy each other? You think if Jews were held as slaves in this country for long and they were set free, emancipation, they would even try to kill each other? They would never. It would be the most loving environment you would ever work because they will become very united. What do? Oh, I'm sorry. We were brainwashed. We were taught how to kill during slavery. That's what we say. What you're saying is telling people that we are so stupid. There's a saying, a story that is bogus. I know it's bogus. That in the 60s, the FBI planted crack in black neighborhoods. That's why we became crackheads. Even the FBI, since they deal with human profiling, they know already that you would use it. Because if they had poured the same thing in Jewish communities, the Jews will walk past it, even at a discount price. They won't take it. If they had poured the same thing in the Korean communities, they won't take it. In the Chinese communities, why did you take it? You're telling your kids that your forefathers were stupid, that you saw poison and you took it. That's what you're teaching children.
Some of this, brother, because when you try to motivate people, there's a harshness you have to face. I don't know what angle this brother's coming from, but unfortunately, you cannot use black people as another example because all the groups you described and what he's saying, they still have their culture, their language all intact. They weren't heavily removed. They weren't trained to forget, and they weren't pitted against each other. This is a unique thing that you find in black communities, unfortunately, and it is a track. So I'm not sure what angle this brother's trying to go at, and I don't know if this is the same brother in the next video. I can't really check if it's the same brother. Where is it? Where's the other one? Oh, he's the same brother. So I think it's
are telling me in my comments, because I'm not from here, I don't have the right to speak about them. I've heard too many times that African Americans believe that we Africans look down upon them when we come to this country, that we think we're better than them. It's false. When we were young in Africa, we worshipped African Americans. Yes. We changed our names to African Americans. My friends in school were called Jim Brown, Black Moses. Yes.
Wow.
I was called Superfly.
Okay.
Yes.
Go King.
Blacks in Africa the barbershop. We go to barbershop until blacks started wearing afro, and we stopped and we started wearing afro. We blacks hated our own fabric, the dashiki, until African Americans made it popular in the 70s, and we all started wearing it back. As a case, I had his albums. We've watched all the movies. Kool-Aid High, TNT Jackson, A Hell Up in Harlem, Detroit 9000, Truck Turner, you name it. And then we go home and we're trying to practice how they speak and all that. That was when we were in Africa. Ask any African who went through the 60s and 70s. They'll tell you, oh, we love them. Maya Angelou moved to Ghana, and she was like a sister. 14 years she lived in Ghana. Her son had an accident and broke his leg and arm in Ghana. African Americans are telling me in my comments, because I'm not from here, I don't have the right to speak about them.
So I don't know who his brother is. Maybe you guys know. And obviously, he's obviously said a few things that's rumbled the wrong way. I get from his tone, I'm assuming he's not directly trying to be confrontational. I don't know. Well, he did highlight a very good point, which we touch on here, and that is how if you get synchronized and then you create your own media, and you do things that's Afro-centered, i.e., the clothing you wear, the hairstyles you do, you will have influence over the world, and that shows you that by having the dashikis and having the afro, not only do people give people a sense of like purpose and worth, but also you show you can influence, and people say have afros and all that kind of stuff. So it shows you that there is something for it. A very important, having knowledge of self and trying to be black first is very important. But yeah, so anyway, we're tackling the tactics of South Africans and Glen Africans. There was one more video, but I won't play it. It's just insults, really. But
yeah, but I just feel like Africans just don't really know who they are, not trying to embrace themselves, rather than compared to others that not really them, like trying to embrace themselves.
Yeah, I mean there is something like so there are also, regardless of the strategy, there are some brothers who go in the diaspora, and their whole thing is to perform it as in degrade themselves or degrade other different black ethnic groups for like the approval. I think this, I don't know who this gentleman is, but I came across this.
Dark black African monkey. And you know it. Yeah? Why didn't you say anything though? I want a banana now. Give me a big one.
So yeah, I don't know who this gentleman is. Someone's taken this video and made like a page just dedicated to him, and they just posted this every single day. I don't know if he did this as a personal thing or if he's trying to be funny, or he's a potential comedian. But this kind of like, so you have the self-deprecation of themselves, and also you have the self-deprecations of ethnic groups. This is more just self-hatred, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. So once again, we go back to the diagram. We have South Africans and Glad Africans. I think it's when you want to be building, you want to be working with the Glad Africans and working on behalf of the South Africans and hoping that they see a better way and they reform their ways. So there you go. That's a quick thing. Now we're going to move into the second topic. Unless there's any questions in the group or on the panel, we're going to move to the second topic. Let's find it. Let's type in 7. So the second topic is, the first topic really, because we reverse order. It is woke. Yeah, let's go on the this is right. So tell your friend, we're live. We're gonna talk about woke LGBT media strategies. We don't use the term woke. Woke is an important term that was used in black circles to tell people you're awake to information, you're awake, you're aware, you're conscious of what's happening, and you're going to work towards betterment of it. But the media have taken this word woke to mean LGBT, inclusive agendas, this kind of stuff. And as a pejorative, that's what they use it for. But we're putting quotes because that's what they're saying. Anyway, we discussed the intentions of LGBT media. But yeah, so there's those don't know. There's in all different medias, films, games, TV shows. There's a pushback from the white community, white male community, and they're not best pleased with seeing a lot of gay people on TV or black people or whatever it is. And I think we will highlight before that the LGBT community, they had a strategy of they wanted to normalize the lifestyles they were practicing, and they realized they were minorities. So the strategy they had was get into powerful places in the media and get on like the writing team and just write in certain things to help educate and train, convince or even brainwash the people to accept certain things. And because they're like a 4% to 3%, depending on the country you're in, they realize you're not having like a unified message, meaning all minorities, as in women, disabled, gay, black people, blah blah. That would up their kind of like reach power, saying that we've got a mission to get these people represented, inclusive. But really, it is more so a kind of a feminist / LGBT kind of motivated movement. And we're gonna in the video game world, there's been a lot of games that's been shut down, and I've just been researching the last week, like some of the stuff, like what's happening and what's causing the kickback and stuff. So I came across this, which I thought was interesting. So this is a game. What is it? Number 1. No, yeah. Let me pause this here for a minute. So this is a game. I think it's called Dragon Age. I've never really seen it or played it. I'm aware of the franchise. I think the company that made it is one of the most successful RPG, American, Canadian, whatever companies. They've got a new writer who's obviously an LGBT person, and they've got some kind of like LGBT company overlooking the scripts and stuff. And I think how these games work is you play them, and then you fight people, fight goblins, whatever. But then when you talk to people, a person says something, and then you get a choice. So it says like, "Do you like my hair?" You might say, "No, I don't." "Oh, yes, I do." And then depending on what you say, the character reacts, and then the story progresses. But what people complaining was there seemed to be LGBT content all through a fantasy game, which is based in like Robin Hood or King Arthur, whatever type of these kind of times. And they're using modern homosexual terms, and they're not giving you the choice to denounce it. So they're like, this seems to be kind of like an agenda thing. So let's listen to, this is a cutscene in the thing. So
Read. I see.
Shathan, it's good to see you again.
So what is they've made their own character. So in the game you can make your own character. There's a man who's been made, and I think these two characters, some kind of like fantasy elf, horn, whatever. I don't know what they call, goblin kind of things, whatever. But yeah, this is their scene.
My child wished to show me where she now lives.
So there's a daughter talking to her mother. I forgot if I can even use those terms.
I made food.
And I think maybe the daughter's brought a friend home or something like this, and the friend is the player who's playing the game.
Here, Armada Special. It's what the pirates eat when they come to port.
This is too rich for me. Perhaps you could prepare some vegetables.
Fine.
A few weeks in your company, and my child has lost what little civility she had.
This game is like Game of Thrones and this kind of stuff. I would say probably like that. And I think this is a scene in the game where the mother's not best pleased about the daughter's behavior, and she's talking to you about it, and you have to assure her something. So they're picking. So it says, a few weeks in your company, my child has lost as little civility. I can't see that, it's so small here. Let me make this bigger. I can't see that. No, this is, so they've given them 3 choices. That's not my problem, blah, blah, blah. I can see that much. Let me make this.
We actually eat dishes from all over. Okanis has introduced us to demon hair pasta, and Balara made challah cakes.
So basically, these two are talking, and then they're talking about what they're talking about, and it's whatever. But then the person or whatever, the daughter, comes back to join the conversation here. And this is what I came across.
In danger, I act.
Here, vegetables.
So this is what I want to focus on. This is a fantasy game like Game of Thrones. This is some kind of goblin creature talking to the goblin creature's mother, and you're there. And this is the first thing this creature says in the game, as in, in this scene.
Thank you.
So, I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
It means I don't feel like a man or a woman.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, Then what are you?
Non-binary. I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
If this is because I have criticized your dress or your manners...
It isn't!
Under the Cune, the term for one whose gender does not match the one given to them at birth was a cunithlock.
A black person did not make this game. It was a person who was born a woman and then changed into a man who made this game. He's the director of this game, the chief writer. And they've also got other people working on it of a similar kind of whatever.
Perhaps you are like that.
Why do you have to keep picking at it? Why can't you just be happy for me?
Evatosh, Chakra Toebra.
So I'm supposed to struggle with who I am? Even if I don't feel like I fit, even if I feel wrong?
No, you misunderstood.
Then say it better! Why am I never enough for you?
I will go. Thank you for inviting me to your home. Panahedan.
So let me see if I can make this bigger. I will thank you for inviting me to your home, and then the answers that you can say to her is, I'm sorry, she needs time. I don't like her, she's wrong. So already there is no, like, in this game of choice, there is no thing like you could say, you know what, you should talk to your mother like that. What do you mean? You're a woman or whatever, or I don't agree with what you're saying. Everything is, I think they use it affirming. I think that's the term, this woman's identity. With this beast woman, I don't know what, obviously it's a fantasy game, whatever, Game of Thrones kind of stuff. So yeah, interesting. Let me see what it says there.
Tosh, I'm so sorry.
No. It's okay.
Tosh?
I'm not hiding anymore. How she takes it is her problem.
You sure?
Yeah. Come on. Don't let food go to waste.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, so, so trans made a trans game. I'll show how it. So, yeah, so now we're going to show you the Black Betterment. This is not, so first of all, what I'm saying, this is not a trans game. That's my point. Let's unpack it. So that is a famous franchise that made a lot of money, that is based on fantasy that people played, and this is the new one, like, part 2, part 3, whatever it is. And now there's a new kind of, direction going in, and the heavily LGBT kind of agendas in there, whatever. What I was saying is how this affects black people is now for the new agenda. What they do is, in order to get things like that in there, they have to show a much more spread diverse. So they'll do things like, okay, now all the dwarves and the elves are black. And then people go, well, they weren't black before. And people go, well, it's fancy, why does it matter? But then black people then get put on the backlash for that. I think you saw the same thing happen in, I think, Lord of the Rings, the series, and Game of Thrones or something like that. It's like, well, what is black before? Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but then you tend to find that they also intertwine it. So the black people will be gay, trans, non-binary, because it's like that whole, one stone, 20 bird kind of ratio. Like, if we can get many things in once. This is not a trans game. This is a game, and I recommend minority games, i.e. trans games, gay games. Make games for your community, stuff like that. Make cartoons, adult cartoons or whatever, that is for certain purposes, but not try to change what's already been there. But the reason I'm saying is because that is a strategy that the LGBT community do, and the feminist community, whatever. And I'm saying that is the length that they go to try to push their ideology onto people, or their awareness of what they want people to know. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying with black people, things just won't change. You have to be, if the LGBT are doing something that is very hard to really brand, it's very hard for 4% people of the population who practice a lifestyle that's very distinctly unique to them. For people who are not wired to even appreciate that or care for that, to actually want to sit down and watch that, they're putting this on Disney films, Disney games, on big box office franchises, and that's because they're actively doing it. They're actively saying we want people to know about trans stuff, identify trans and to not be bothered about trans and to not stop trans things. So we're going to have a strategy to get into every single media program we can. Here's how we're going to do it. Let's see, bro, the black feminists and the black LGBT run the black community. Go look at Black Girl Gamers. Yeah, I know about Black Girl Gamers. Yeah. But once again, that's a network that happens through the kind of LGBT where they're empowered through that network. But once again, there's still dynamic in that network, i.e., you have the European LGBT at the top and then the black LGBT at the bottom. And that's not a metaphor. That's the dynamics of the hierarchy. Look at and you're right when you see the Black Lives Matter. You realize it was run by 3 black women, amazing stuff, but 2 of them obviously LGBT, and 1 was married to a European LGBT person. They were very anti-nuclear family, which was very interesting in their manifesto, whatever it was. So there you go. So was there anything else in this film? Probably not. Let's see if there's anything else. That was something I realized that and that guy, I have images, but they've got black elves and there's got this stuff going on in there, like, and people were complaining, as they're complaining anyway. Not that I'm here or there about introducing black characters into European kind of settings, whatever, I don't know, or fancy European settings. But that is what is happening. What is this? Non-binary. But one thing I would say is this is how this is a show I assume written by a black person, and I think it's more real to how black people react to certain kind of behavior patterns. So basically, what we saw, you saw a European person writing some fancy thing, and they use terms like non-binary, which wouldn't be in the fancy time. But this is like a black comedy, I assume, written by black people. I like to think so. Maybe not. But this is how black people react to this kind of behavior in certain kind of environments. So that, I don't know where it's from, as I saw on the feed, but for me, that is showing a more truthful dynamic of how people react if a son was to dress a certain way, try to come to church and this kind of stuff. That's more realistic. And I think what's happening is, if you want to cover these issues, it would be good to be more realistic. But if an LGBT person was writing and they're trying to normalize things, they won't write any pushback or any cultural sensitive things. They'll just have everything, work out, and it's, a very kind of happy land, whatever. So that these are the people now who are actually in the writing department of many games and films, and that's why you're seeing these kind of like stuff, and that's why you're going to see more black people doing it, more black people representation of those kind of lifestyles. But you'll see less of like constructive black man and woman family households, whatever. That's not a priority anymore. The priority is to show, LGBT or mixed relationships, whatever. That's the kind of current agenda, and that's what people are pushing back on behind the scenes.
I just feel like they're just confused by the system and the propaganda, wherever it's created from, like who made the LBGQ, I'm not gonna disrespect, but I feel like, where is it coming from? I feel like it's created by somewhere, being programmed. Like I don't want to say black man's black. I know where that is created, but it's just like something similar than that.
Yeah, I think the LGBT community definitely is. I would say that, and I respect that we have to be very respectful when we speak to people. I believe the community when they say that they go for an experience and that's how they view things. I was saying that culture is important and consistency is important, and we're trying to repair the black community. So we're going to push important emphasis on constructive black man and constructive black woman. And that's what we're going to push. So when it comes to rebuilding the media and stuff, we want to show healthy, strong black relationships, strong black fathers looking after black children and black mothers supporting the black husbands and stuff like that. Now, that's going to allow us to segue amazingly into our next topic. And unless there's any questions on this in the group about the about questions come in. I think you might have missed the intro about Glad Africans and South Africans. I'll say just for you now. Glad Africans and South Africans are basically, it's a strategy of whenever a person comes from a different nation, preferably from, say, Nigeria to the Caribbean or to England or to America, if they have an anti-black Caribbean, anti-black American sentiment, whatever, it's best if, rather than tarnishing every single Nigerian that same brush, you say, we can make a distinction between South Africans and Glad Africans. And that's just a South African. Every time they see us, they feel sad. So that way, we can say that we're not going to tarnish every single person because of behavioral patterns of one.
I just feel like they hate themselves. That's why I see them. You know, low self-esteem, low vibrations. And when you see people who are proud of who they are, you see their frequency, you know, their good energy, their vibration. They're proud of who they are. So I feel like it's good and bad in Africa as well.
Yeah. So let's. I'm going to play a few videos of this. We're going to go down the colorism route. Who shall I start with? Let me start. Is it this one maybe? Hold on.
Saying that black women who are talking about this are bitter and.
So a bit of background. There's a rapper called Krebs. He had a daughter called Naila, something like this. With a sister, a light-skinned sister, and I think he invited all his friends, of rapper friends, to bring their children into the video shoot. I think as they've all brought their children into the shoot, a lot of black women are realizing that a lot of the children are tremendously lighter than the actual rappers themselves, making them think that they have a preference of either European or what they say, racially ambiguous, or mixed black, as they say, or light-skinned black, as in, and they're more focused on the fact that the men never seem to be around people as dark or darker than themselves, and they suspect a form of historical colorism taking place, and they're emphasizing it.
This is why they don't get chosen.
Yes, we're talking about racial preferences in relationships, but actually colorism is a system and a framework in which dark-skinned black women are oppressed under. When we talk about women specifically, right? And what concerns me is when dark-skinned black women are having these conversations, this isn't just about preferences when it comes to dating. This is about their lived experience.
There has been online backlash regarding Nala's song by Krept. As soon as the preview was dropped a couple of days ago on X, accusations of colorism in the black community for successful men came out, mostly from black women. In this video, we're going to discuss issues around colorism, especially in the black British community. Is there a problem or not? Does anything need to be addressed or not? And of course, I'm going to give you my opinion. Stay tuned.
So how far his brother,
so for those of
you, that's him and his wife. His brother from the UK, lives in somewhere in Africa with his wife. Big up Dominic for the link. Let's just have a listen.
For you that don't know, my name is TJ. Now this subject is particularly poignant for me. Why? Because I'm mixed Nigerian and British, being mixed in Britain but being perceived as black, being mixed in Africa but being perceived as white, plus situations of acceptance and rejection depending on the community I'm around, the people I'm around, and their opinions on race. So the matter at hand is that Krept, musician and entrepreneur, brought together a bunch of friends who were mostly black that are successful and have daughters. And the idea was to celebrate being fathers of daughters, raising daughters, and all of that kind of good, positive message. So how could this have possibly gone wrong? So let's take a look at the video that caused the controversy.
It's the best part of being a girl dad. Seeing her grow, man, eventually just learning new things.
You can't even explain it, man, like the level of responsibility that you feel.
I feel like it gives you purpose. You got a little female version of yourself.
I mean, look, producing such a production.
Seeing your own mother in your child.
I'm a general sensitive person anyway, but see, when you have a daughter, bro, it brings out a different side of you.
A daddy-daughter relationship, when it's nurtured properly, it's a special thing, man.
Even when their personality comes through and they start talking to you, telling you things they think. Yeah, man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, knowing that she's gonna grow up.
Your thoughts can run away with you, as in, you know, you think about them growing older and all the classes them that's around.
Hey, listen, you, yeah?
So the hardest part, yeah, I would say is the sassiness.
Watching her cry. Especially when it's because you've told her off.
Having to limit your love so you don't spoil them. Obviously, you want to do everything, but you can do too much.
That's a bar that just has to be acknowledged right there. That's probably the greatest lesson that a father could probably take away from this video.
But you can do too much.
There's no hard part, really and truly. It's all a blessing, it's humbling. What else was hard part?
That's the hard part.
Wow. I just worry about like just how this world is and how evil it can be, do you get me? And it's just about protecting them and guarding them and growing them in the best possible way, with the best morals, to become one of them good people in the world.
So obviously you can see here that his daughter is pretty light-skinned. I believe the mother is herself mixed. I'm not sure exactly. And there are several instances where this lighter skinned daughter situation comes up, right? You got one here, you got one here. I mean, this guy's light skinned. What am I talking about in terms of backlash? Let's look at some of the comments. The top one says, mulatto madness, yeah? The next one says, I would disown my son if he ever did this. I don't allow halves in my whole home. So obviously I wouldn't be allowed in this lady's home. Oh my God. Black British men do not like black women for real. And the last one says, the world is always trying to say black women hate themselves, but the whole time it's been black men, exclamation mark. They purposely choose lighter women so they won't have dark-skinned children. Some women as well, but it's mainly men. Oh my God. So there is just comment after comment after comment like this, mostly from black women. And of course, this sparked a conversation, one of which was on 1Extra.
Some people are saying that the black women who are talking about this are bitter and this is why they don't get chosen. There's been a lot of things derailing the conversation. There's been another conversation around you guys are being so, your show.
First join us, we're looking at men. The topic's called Black Men's Ignorance and Awareness of Colourism. We discussed the reaction to the UK rap song that highlights the history of colourism. The song's about fathers looking at their daughters, but it's brought up a colourism topic. And we're looking at this brother's reaction to it because he's covered a lot of the ground, so we're going to cover it. We're going to cover him covering it.
In your disdain for these children and all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
I want to say, first and foremost, with us speaking about this, you've mentioned it there already, but just making it unequivocally clear, nobody has any disdain towards these beautiful children.
Yeah, they're so cute. When we're looking at colorism, yes, we're talking about racial preferences.
And that's something as well that happens, yeah, where it's like, first of all, and this is more to the sisters and the brothers, more sisters, first of all, two things can be right at the same time. So these brothers, you give them the accolades for being fathers, 10 points, excellent. We promote that. But then also the history of colorism, or the unawareness of colorism could happen. And that doesn't take anything away from the families or the children or anything like that. But it is a question you have to talk about. And it's very important. But also something what I would recommend the women do is do not use derogatory terms when you are writing your comments, because that will be the focus. You saw the sisters there were saying, I'll never let half this in my family or this kind of stuff like that. Once again, the people you're not trying to affect will be affected by that, and the interesting points you try to raise will be ignored. And I think that, you know, that and also if the men disregarding black women's experiences, so there's a no-no, you know, but let's carry on.
In relationships, but actually colorism is a system and a framework in which dark-skinned black women are oppressed under, when we're talking about women specifically, right? So Jade Bentil, who is author and academic, she spoke about pigmentocracy, and that is the pigment in your skin, the darker your pigment, so it's about lighter pigment being at the top and darker pigment being at the bottom. And that's not about people being more or less attractive, it's about perception. And
when you say big up Empress Kush for Paul Quadria, he truly says himself is, who's he? Are you talking about the brother on the video? Who's setting himself in this video?
treatment, right? This isn't a reality. This is a perception that then influences and creates a reality for dark-skinned black women. So actually, for me, what angers me and what concerns me is when dark-skinned black women are having these conversations, this isn't just about preferences when it comes to dating. This is about their lived experience. And it's me, I'm aware I'm a man saying this, but I feel like as a mixed black man who has one black parent and one mixed parent, although my mum is not mixed with black, I probably should be coming into the conversation saying I'm not offended. And I think positioning black women as bitter when they're having these conversations is an extension of colorism within itself.
1000%. And also it feels like gaslighting, because
it absolutely is.
We've, as a dark-skinned black woman, I've directly experienced the colorism that black men, dark-skinned black men perpetuate. So then for us to then even acknowledge it, it's like you're being shouted down when, one, you've experienced it, and then two, you see it in every facet of media, and you see it in all of the choices that celebrity black men make. And, you know, people want to talk about, these are online conversations, it's not happening in real life. Who do you think these people are? Are they just online figures?
We're talking about the guy on the left and side. Okay. Yeah, let's say he's got some interesting views on the topic. Let's see what he says.
Figments of our imagination.
So this is the line we're supposed to have, right? This is the, hey, black empowerment. And I think a lot of truth is here. I'm even willing to say colorism exists and is a problem. It's something that I've seen, I've noticed, I've experienced myself my whole life. As a light-skinned person, I've had preferential treatment at times. And I've also had negative treatment because of being light-skinned. If black men are honest, the truth is they'll probably pick a light-skinned girl over a dark-skinned girl in many cases. Of course, I can't say all cases, but this is what I would say from what I see happen in London. So yeah, you've got a point. But I find this point unsatisfactory. Calling it out, does that mean that the accusations of bitterness and all of those types of things against black women is not real? Let's look at some of the comments in retort that black men were posting in response to the women's outrage. A beautiful video of fatherhood is shared, and as per usual, we couldn't discuss the positive male influences here because a certain demographic made it about themselves instead. The next one. A lot of women are very angry and bitter. I don't know why. The next one. Black women cannot be mad at this when y'all celebrate the other way. Either celebrate both or none at all. There is some truth to this. There are some black girls that will choose a light-skinned guy or a white guy over a black guy. That is just the case. It's not like colorism doesn't affect women. They are also subject to it. This is something that's been happening for hundreds of years. Someone even went as far as to post this video.
I popped my balloon because there's like no physical attraction.
I popped my balloon because I just wasn't attracted.
And I popped my balloon because you didn't really know what you wanted to say. You didn't know what you do. You forgot for a second. You forgot your name. Like,
Let's just look at her posture, the way she's dressing him down. And look at the girl in the background laughing and giggling. They're ridiculing this guy. You might not be attracted to him, but he deserves respect as a black man, doesn't he?
I just don't feel anything, to be honest.
Well, why do you say that? What do you mean you don't feel anything?
Like, I don't feel like I want to get to know you. If I see you, I just walk past. It don't give me that energy.
And why did you pop your balloon?
I think we'd be better off as friends.
As friends?
I popped my balloon because honestly, I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. The retwist.
The retwist?
Yeah.
Damn. Is he your type?
Yeah, it was working for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. The sisters played me. But the nobody said the type for me. This is nasty work, man.
I like big and strong.
I like big and strong. So what's this guy supposed to do? Why not go to where he's valued? The truth is that people have other things that they can put above their race. Let's say there's a guy of whatever race and there's a woman of another race and they both go to a tennis club. They may bond over that sport. And that bonding and that thing that they have in common trumps anything to do with whatever race either one.
Yes, I don't know where this brother's going with this. I think I've seen this, but they try to show black women doing what a black man and a white woman does. Not that I agree with the outcome here, but I'm going to carry on listening.
All of these things can be true. And the reason I say all of these things can be true is to go back to this point.
I want to say, first and foremost, with us speaking about this, you've mentioned it there already, but just making it unequivocally clear, nobody has any disdain towards these beautiful children.
Yeah. What this young lady is asking us to do is accept that two things can be true. We can criticize this for colorism without criticizing the children. She wants us to have the emotional intelligence and understanding to know that we are not including any hatred for the children in our criticism of this.
This is a thing I've been aware of whenever we talk about promotion of black love. Someone tries to then crowbar the children of mixed unions in the conversation and tries to forbade the conversation because it might upset them. And I think this is I think it's like a weapon that people use. And obviously we're gonna try to shut it down, whatever. But it's like we really when it comes to the way I look at things, you are either a member of the community or you're not. If you're a member of the community, everything we say can be practiced by you, regardless of what your parentage is. If you're not, then why are you here talking? So if we have a black betterment thing and we're talking about how to improve black stuff, and you don't identify as black or you're not connected to black, there should be no reason why you're in having any kind of discussion, opinion, or feelings, because you're either with us or you're not. And I always use this analogy. I say, okay, look, wherever people identify that cause anxiety, that's one thing. But you as a person, these children you're discussing, could they walk into the white community and say, I am white, and then everyone collapses as hurrah? No. Can they walk into the community and say, I'm black, and people go, yeah, of course, whatever? They can, right? So we understand that historically that the black community has a great extension to allow one black parentage of people to be in there and participate and have a way they want to do it. So I don't think it's cool to use them as a method to to sabotage basic concepts of the importance of black love. Yeah, you can't have the 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, that is something that I accepted in her point. So now I ask for the same in return. Whilst colorism exists, could it not be true that some black women are bitter and angry? And I know it's heresy, but just like she said, her lived experience, I've also seen it myself.
I mean, for me, I don't. Even if the answer is yes, I don't see why that's an issue. I don't understand why black women being bitter, that the men who are meant to provide and protect and be the front defense of a community have a priority to put the women that look like them last. I don't see why, if someone was to be bitter to that, why that would even be an interesting topic to have. The topic should be what is happening. Has black men recovered from being conquered by white men? And when we look at these videos and this way of discussing it, the answer is no. Like I said, these kind of discussions do not exist in other groups because other men have not been as thoroughly conquered as our men, you see? And that's why we kind of get the basics done.
But wait, can I ask you a question? Do you think dark-skinned woman, kind of look down on black men, or is it just something the trauma or something that's hate against?
Well, no, I think it's multifaceted. I think you're always going to get different stuff, but from my research, from what I've seen, if I had to look at do black women, what is the percent in the mind of black women? Are they more likely to be with a black man or more likely to be with a non-black man? You'll find that versus like for like, a black woman, for her own confessions and strategies, wants to be with a black man, while in the black man, you tend to find there's a higher rate that they more likely want to be with a non-black woman or a light-skinned woman or a woman from a different community group, right? As in, pound for pound, yeah? So when you look at that plus the other things, you can understand why black women certain black women might be resentful to the reality, especially when, if you go to the Arab world or the European world, the women that tend to be more favored are the ones that descend from the group that destroyed the nation of men that so want to be with those women. So but once again, this is not a surprise, but there's a history of this. We understand what this is,
yes.
Right? Let's read out some of the things. He is disregarding the women's point of view while using the balloon child to justify my opinion. In my opinion, he hurt in sending himself. He hurt in sending himself through his heritage. It's not about him. It's actually typical and happens often. I think I read that wrong, but maybe I didn't. Exactly this 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And then we've got, what country are your family? Someone's just talking about stuff. Brother Foster, you are a perfect person to jump. We did invite you last week. You've announced that you're a person with one black parent and you have a history of this kind of stuff. Feel free to jump in to talk about this. Once again, family, this topic has got nothing to do with children with one black parent or light-skinned black people, whatever, right? Nothing to do with them. It's to do with the choices that black men are making, and do black men truly value black women and building the black community based on being black women, you see? And then it leads on to do many black men actually love themselves. That's really what it comes down to. And, you know, do they want to create the phenotype and the visuals of themselves again, or are they trying to change that? If he didn't class himself as black community, why has he even got the right to criticize? Big up Cushy. Here we go. Let's carry on listening.
So all of this begs the question, if colorism is a problem, what do we do about it? Well, let me start by saying this. We don't perpetuate it ourselves and then complain about it. So that means I would rather not see any of this from black women. Colorism includes when black women dress themselves up in a style that makes them look and appear more white. Now, there's been speculation about skin.
Now, this is an interesting way to approach a topic. I'm going to let him speak, but if he's going, you see, this is the thing. This is a very problematic, error-prone approach. He's saying that the women are critiquing the consistent outcome of black celebrities consistently marrying the descendants of the people who conquered them, or the phenotype close to those people, right? And he's saying that this is colorism, and he's saying that, but he doesn't want to hear those black women complain if they wear European style hair, or they bleach their skin, or they wear kind of makeup to make them look more Europeanish. I think this is I think this is I don't know if it's a red herring or just completely non sequitur, bad faith argument. Respectfully, I think he's got it really wrong here.
In bleaching, there are black women that bleach their skin. That is a fact. There is a $1 billion hair industry that is.
I think black men and black people in general, you have to understand that being the victims of something, you need to make a separation between being the victims of something and perpetuating something, right?
Is designed to make black people have straight, white-looking hair. Now, the problem with this is I can't call Serena and have her change or do anything. No differently could any woman change the mind of Krept or any other of the people that have made the choices they've made in their relationships to have light-skinned babies in that video. There is no Hitler of colorism that we can point and make a war.
So this is the thing. You're always going to have these gentlemen and people who always have this feeling like, and they're right to the extent where they say, you cannot tell someone who has been raised a certain way who's been conditioned to think a certain way to not think that way, right? That's why you have to have case studies and talking points, and also media training, and also media creation of the opposite. So you have to create media and create topics, create things where the beauty of blackness is emphasized. You see, where you equate black people to good things, and you show wholesome black relationships, and you try to show a higher ratio of the darker skin population, to which, you know, it's not balanced. You see more lighter than you see darker, even though darker outnumber the lighter. So clearly there's a mismanagement there. Only after you've done that will you have self-pride. But if you go up to the sister like this, or the brothers like the one we're discussing, and tell them, do these things because it's good for you, or because it's good for you, they will fight for the right to look white or to date white. Yeah. Or to, you know, it's not going to happen. If you're of two cultures, you're going to be bits and both of. So I've always asked you, Brother Foster, and I'm not saying you're correct or wrong in that, but the question I would say to people who have one black parent, one white parent, are you allowed to go into the white community and call yourself a white person, historically or today? Let me know your answer. And then question 2 is, historically and today, were you allowed to go into the black community and call yourself black? If the answer is no for white and yes for black, and white people have historically controlled the race categorization, the race, sorry, pronunciation, right? If the people who control that, and also are your father and mother, and they don't allow you to be white, right? Then why is it that when black people come together to try to find solutions, there's always this 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and we have to help everyone, and we're mixed, we're not this, but yet you're allowed to identify as black, but you're not allowed to identify as white. And when black people are trying to come together to find solutions and to better a condition to which white people and Arab people have contributed in destroying, why is it that there's so much self-sabotage going on there? Very interesting topic that we should cover. And maybe Brother Foster can answer that if he wishes to jump in. He's always
And
welcome.
look at that. Like if I date a white woman and bring her to my community, or something like you said before, like what if my black woman, what if the white woman will support me for preparation? She'd be like, oh, hold on a minute, it's not for me. You know what I mean? Like
Very true.
you're saying,
What
like,
Brother's saying is,
yeah.
you know, yeah, these are the important questions we have to ask, you know. But Brother Foster has then gone to say today and historically we were allowed to be called mulatto and mixed race today. Yeah, so mulatto historically was a term to identify that you have one black parentage and one Negro parentage, right? And you would have been in the African black community, or the black community, or the Negro community. That's how it was. There's books and scenes and documentation what it is. Whether a person wants to call themselves mixed from a lot of that's not, you know, cool. You know, some black people want to use the term African, some only want to say I'm Nigerian, I'm Jamaican, blah blah. That's good. I'm saying that there is there's an effort for people of African descent, black phenotype, black blood people, whatever, or African blood people, whatever term people use historically, Negroes or whatever, to come together to fix challenges that other people have caused and that we have self-perpetuated through history. And if you, what is the value in a person with one black parent coming in to I guess to always question that and especially when that person is not allowed to do any of that in the white community. So that's a very important question and something that I would like to be answered at one point. Question from Christian: how do you identify yourself as is your business? You're right. If you class yourself outside the community, understand that it's the same as an Asian talking on us. Yeah, white talking. So what the sister's saying is very correct, right? And we see this on TV a lot. We have a person who say, I'm mixed. Not I'm mixed black, or I'm black, or I'm a mixed person who identifies as black, or I'm a black skinned person, whatever. They say I'm mixed, yeah? And they say I'm half white, I'm half, and that's really important to them. That's fine. But then when there's a topic about black people, you want 1,000% share equity. You see? So once again, we have to be very careful of people who are using any strategy they can to self-sabotage a movement. So this kind of mixed thing, mulatto thing, and this kind of stuff, like I said, the kindest people you're ever going to meet is black people. That because we're at the very bottom, but yet we let everyone in to have an opinion. Yeah, and we're very kind when people, like, how many times have I had a show where we invite brothers, more so rappers, come on, and they've got the universal love concept, whatever. And they spend half the time talking about, oh, but what about mixed people? And this is the emphasis. I'm trying to fix black issues. And yet you're now concerned about someone who you've identified as on the fringe of blackness by your own definition. Yeah? It's very odd behavior, but then this is why we're trying to clean that up. But let's carry on listening. Let's see what brother says. He says, then that's down to you guys for gatekeeping your community the way the white man does. Well, that's the thing. I'm saying to you, brother, that we are kinder than the white people, whatever. And I'm using you, this conversation, as how we're going to reform that. I'm saying that if you step into these circles and I'm mixed this, I'm mixed that, then you've taken half your points away, innit? You have to get two people to sign your one agreement because you've taken your black card. You've done weird, done it. Like the brothers are seeing you as part of the black family. Now, the whole name thing, no one can, like, we'll be here all day talking about what is someone black, is someone mixed, is someone light, is someone African, is someone more. We'll be here all day talking about that. But we understand that there's a community that comes in the world of white supremacy of people of Afro descent, Afro phenotype, right? And then we're working together to fix this challenge that we're going through, right? Once you come and you start saying otherwise, you've disqualified yourself. You disqualified yourself. You have removed yourself from that conversation. Yeah. I told you when I come on, allowed mixed race people into your community isn't the best thing for black people. Yeah, I understand that. I understand your goal, right, is to create, I think, like I guess a reverse or a back to the brown paper bag concept, right? Or a colored in South Africa concept. That's fine. That's what you're gonna do. But then this place will be the worst place for you because we don't do that. You know, we talk about people of African descent, black people working together and pushing pro-blackness as a priority. You know what I mean? Well, like I said, you're always welcome to jump on. I hear you, Foster, yet look where you are. This mixed person speaking of black issues. Exactly. But once again, these are case studies, right? So we understand something is going on. And we know that in the white groups, Brother Foster will not be there. And this is what I'm saying, that the legacy of miscegenation and anti-black racism and this kind of stuff, it confuses all people. It confuses black people with 2 black parents. It confuses the black community who has 1 black parent. It confuses the dark-skinned black man and the light-skinned black man. But we recognize that in a white supremacist system, with the legacy we've gone through, the darker you are, the more likely you're going to have a issue with your phenotype based upon how the media is portraying things. And if you don't have a black framework to counter that, the chances are when you just wake up in the morning, you probably won't be marrying a person who looks like you. It's going to happen here and there, of course, but when you're exposed to options, when you go in the media, when you have to make a choice, you're going to favor being close to the European in every aspect of the way. And that's just something that we've observed. Yeah. I don't need to tell the white man mixed race people are not white. So is your goal here, Foster, to say that you're mixed and you're not black? I mean, no one's going to argue with you. We understand the concept of a black person having a non-black parent and then being called either embraced or called mixed. We understand that. What we're saying is, because we are kinder than the European community, we allow people with 1 black parent to come in and contribute for the betterment of the collective. But if they show a 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality, then they disqualify themselves. That's just common sense. But look, what we're trying to highlight, remember, this is a case study, everyone. We're trying to demonstrate that look how kind black people are, that we let all the fringes in, we let everyone in, but yet the self-sabotage, they want you to know with chest, I'm here to sabotage. And they go, I know the white man won't let me in, but you will. I'm here to sabotage. The funny thing is, if the white man did that, David, there will be no sabotage. We have the history of so many so-called quadroons and mulattoes, passing and getting in. No sabotage. They do what needs to do to benefit the white collective. They marry after marry. They get the business. They circulate the wealth. They become white people. You see, and what we're saying is this kind of sickness, in the sense of like where some black men, dark-skinned black men, are trying to make their children lighter. Well, that process of that light-skinned children, it continues in the conversation where they themselves are trying to get light themselves. And we've covered this concept known as racial whitening in Brazil, aka Ham's Redemption, where it is a strategy to become European or Arab, depending on the group you're married into, right? And obviously, when you come to a Black Betterment broadcast, we are the opposite of that. We love black relationships. We want black people to marry black people. Now, as far as I'm aware, these gentlemen, not all of them necessarily with a non-black person. Some might be with a light black person. Some might be with what you just said, a mixed black person. But then obviously we're now talking about colorism, very important. But this is brother here who identifies as mixed, and he was giving examples of Serena Williams. And let's see what he says. Highlight the comments you're answering to Raven. Not all are showing up on the chat, bro. Oh, okay, yeah. If you're saying things, I'm hoping I'm getting them. But the best way to think, brother, is to, like I said, you will not be shut down. I will give you a time to speak. I will try to be as respectful as possible. You're welcome to jump on to explain why you are here, or your thoughts on the black women going through colorism historical challenges and expressing themselves, and then your concept on that. But let's carry on to this brother on the TV.
Against. Now, aside from complaining, moaning, going on rants, going on Twitter, the only thing that I can see that we can do about colorism, which again, I've accepted is a problem, is to be the change you want to see. I really believe you just have to let people be, make their decisions, and make your choices based off your values. It is.
Yeah, I hear this all the time. Once again, this is like the layman's entry level kind of response. Black Betterment is coming together and actively campaigning, creating media, poems, magazines, ideologies, templates that put black first in all things. This kind of like you do you, they do them. Yeah, we understand that, but you're against a media machine that won't work on, right? You have to be active. You have to say you are marrying the daughters of a white man. You have to use those terms. You have to say, unfortunately, black men have not recovered from being conquered by white men. And because of that, we're going to make actions and decisions that isn't Black people's collective best interest. Now, the things I say is very shocking. A lot of people, they have heart attacks when I say it, but you will see me walking on a campaign having these discussions because, like I said, every time you try to get a movement going, you have the kumbayaris come in, and I have the Black parent, the Black aunt people come in, and I have Black wife people come in. I'm saying, what has that got to do with Black women? You know what I mean? So let's carry on. Listen to the brother.
The fact that in the United Kingdom, mixed race is the fastest growing group in the whole country. Right now, it's sitting between 2 and 3%, and that group is growing faster than any other group. What exactly are you supposed to do about that? As a mixed person, what am I supposed to do about it?
So what's happening is people with one Black parent, they center themselves in a topic about Black love. Now, out of the kindness of Black people, as far as I'm aware, you can marry Black people and then do like the boy did, and he moved to Africa and kind of stuff. And this brother, he's married a Black woman, African woman. He's moved to Africa, and he, if his legacy remains there, all his kids will be Black, right? African Black, proper from the continent. I think Kenya, where he's from. So the thing is, like, we want an enthusiasm towards these concepts, yeah. Other communities has an enthusiasm towards their concepts, but Black people say, "What do you want to do about it? What can we do about it? Let people live." I'm saying let people live, but I'm saying we want a campaign, and I'm saying the Black women are correct to say all children are lovely, and we want Black men to be good parents. 10 points for that, but we have to conclude this colorism thing. Let's see what the brother says. 4 likes. Yeah, people like the chat, all that good stuff. Tell your friend, tell a friend we're live, and we're talking about very important topics. We're talking about colorism, and we're focused on the dark-skinned Black women and dark-skinned Black men. And we have Christian comments. I haven't really heard what he said, but he has the right to respond to online trolls making horrible comments about mixed-race children. Yeah, so once again, the women are very clear for the most part. There's obviously going to be the troll Black women who say what they say because that's how they are online. The majority, I find that Black women are the most inclusive to their own detriment when it comes to just groups, in the sense of they're more kind towards the LGBT group, they're more kind towards the feminine male group, they're more kind towards the mixed group. They show a kindness, even though they are going through the highest hell. Do you understand that? Oh, we've got guests. Let's, welcome, Empress Kush. Welcome to the Black Betterment Broadcast.
Black Betterment family.
Black Betterment.
Black Betterment. Brother Kojo, and everybody in the chat.
Impressed.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
How are you, Brother Raven? Black Betterment, great topic as usual.
There you go. Yes, very important. We're going to listen to some brother, and when you want to pause it, just say pause, and then we can give a breakdown.
I just want to say I appreciate your breakdown, like thus far on this. And obviously Brother Kojo's input as a brother as well. It's just good to see you have this kind of input. It's just it goes to show that you have been listening to our sisters for how long we've been coming on, and you've been observing it and seeing it. Not to say that you probably didn't come to this conclusion by yourself, because we understand how you see things, but it is nice to just sit back, and everything that I'm thinking you're already spitting it. So yeah, I just gonna say that is actually, it's quite refreshing and rare as a Black woman to be able to listen to a brother talk back on this topic and then actually hit all the markers, which is sad to really say, because colorism shouldn't be something that's adjacent to our gender, but it seems like it is. This topic is solely about colorism, yet here we are having to, as I've always said, one of the biggest weapon they use on us is confusion, where this is supposed to be about colorism, yet somehow, again, other topics are coming into this topic. I'm not saying that, the topic in regards to the mixed heritage and the dynamics about that is not a valid topic, yet I'm saying that colorism also is a prominent issue for us, especially here in the UK, in regards to our dynamics and things like that here. And yet even that, we can't be allowed to have that topic. I'm not saying that that's happening here in regards to Foster, because I actually appreciate Foster actually just saying it how it is. that, and just letting people and having that voice happen. Because what I find is that people might of mixed heritage might actually have Foster's opinion, but they don't come to the forefront with it, with their opinion, how Foster is like quite direct with it. They will do what this individual's doing and paint around it and introduce the confusion and talk about how he feels, and now it's a do you understand what I'm saying in that point, bro? So I do appreciate the conversation that's happening here, but I think that this is an example of what's happening in regards to this topic in general with us within the community, where as soon as a healthy discussion is trying to happen, when it's obvious in our face, like when I see this video here, it is lovely in regards to a father being a father, but like a father should be a father, number one. But it is good to see fathers being a father, I guess. But also it's like when I see this video, all I see was literally what I was thinking is what you said, ham redemption. That's all I was thinking, like, and I just believe that we're going to be the next Argentina, and that discussion cannot happen, because as soon as there's an inkling of that discussion trying to take place of, wow, isn't this obvious in our face at this point? Wow, like this is a wild dynamic, like all these black men, and like, you know, not many there with a reflection of themselves. You know, even in averages, this is not very healthy. You know, the stuff that you've broken down, bro, like this is an actual example of it. And as soon as the topic wants to get introduced on it, it gets shut down as, you know, bitter black women, how I feel as a mixed race person, you having this discussion. You know, although I'm out of the community, I don't classify myself as community. This is how I feel about you lot. You lot should stop talking about it, you know, and there we have it. No real kind of conversation can happen in regards to it. So I'm saying that I appreciate you trying to navigate this conversation while centering the actual topic around it, because I don't think that happens. And we can walk and chew gum right over here, so we can have a discussion centering about colorism while also having that discussion with Foster at the same time and understanding dynamics. And then, like I was saying to Foster here, do you think that he should, like, looking at him now after everything that you say, do you think he has a right to have this kind of conversation? Because then you can't talk about, okay, I have no right to be talking about the Jewish community and how the men and the women's dynamics are if I don't class myself in the Jewish community. Like, there's only so much I have the right to start commenting on, putting down people and thinking that I have the right to talk in it. And this is the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I've seen mixed race people who do not classify themselves as black literally have self-hating black issues. And then when they're in front of a media of white people, I will start the topic as a black person. But yet you're not black. So the way they weaponize being able to classify themselves as white, classifies themselves as a mixed race person in different dynamics, and utilize that power to put us down, it is noticeable. And then to come in and say, actually, don't talk about that because that offends me, is a problem. In fact, it's very similar as to other groups who talk to us like that, who expect that. Like, just take the abuse, but don't mention it. Don't, like, take the racism, but don't call it out. You know, take the colorism, but don't call it out.
So that's the answer. What you said there is the answer. See, from so many black men, men in the group, where it's like, yes, take the challenge, but you know, but do you? It's like, well, if black women are complaining that black men, their mind's not in the game, and you say do you, how can black women do you when so many black men are not in the game? Unless those black women start dating non-black men, right? Which is obviously, this is not where we're going. As once again, when you say you're pro-black, that means you want black men to be black women. Yeah, it's like that's what this is about. Now,
so this shouldn't offend you, right?
Exactly.
Because this is what you see yourself as. Promotional black love is promotional more of you, right? But then you stop at it. But halfway through that conversation, if that same individual's like, hold on, do you understand? Now everything's derailed, bro. And we've gone through this before, and I feel the conversation has finally catched up to this, because I remember us talking about this from do you know what I mean, from the beginning, and trying to move through this dynamics. And I feel like this conversation has come to the mainstream because there's so much things that's going on within our community in mainstream that kind of comes down to either the mixed race conversation or the colorism conversation is constantly happening as of late, especially in the UK.
Even the trauma, they don't want to acknowledge that as well.
Exactly, the trauma. Or let's talk about it. Like let's literally have a real conversation about what colorism does, how it's affecting us, and how it shows up. Like the brother said, there's real conversations to be had here. The trauma, the propaganda, the programming, you know, how it causes us to relate to each other, how we look at each other, the standards that we set on each other. There's a lot that can be sat down and digest and really broken down to heal our community, but we're not even allowed to have that conversation properly because it offends people's precious feelings. It just sounds very similar to another race here that we're dealing with.
Well, we come here to highlight this stuff and to cut it down straight away and to say, look, here, you know, and I think we should be using the kindness card. It's like the black community have historically always been kind. And I asked all these, obviously, Brother Foster's got some new kind of mentality or what it is. But I say this, you cannot go in the white community and say, I'm a white man. Can I have an opinion? They'll kick you out. You're not even in that room. Yeah. But the black community.
You agree with that, Brother Foster? Because it's like, I've not really heard you talk about that. Sorry to interrupt you, Brother Raven. But I will say that when he has asked you that question, you kind of skate around that. Because we've seen time and time again of people who really do make themselves, in one side of the thing, they feel that they have the right to censor themselves in a conversation. Yet, while they're talking about it, they make it very clear that they're not a part of that community. In the black side, but that mixed race person will not be able to center themselves in the white conversation, and then trying to put themselves, and then while they're there in the conversation, start removing themselves from their whiteness. They're never going to do that, and I feel like that gets skated on a lot. Like there's never an answer to that, because we are very loving, right? Like, is that acknowledged? Like what brother's saying, we are very nice. We are very open. The fact that other people can come in and talk about that, like, I just wonder if that ever gets a mention or a notice, because I've noticed that, like, even when you've mentioned it a few times, it just kind of gets skated over.
Yeah, he said that I'm not asking to be in the white community, but what we're trying to highlight, brother, is you're not in the white community doing any kind of reform work or sabotage work or anything. You're in the black community. You see, there is. Can you give me, like, you know, the bookmarks of where you've gone saying this kind of stuff? Yeah, it's like you do understand that, unfortunately, because of the European history, we haven't recovered from being conquered, right? And we're trying to fix what others have destroyed. And unfortunately, many of our people have been conditioned to continue that destruction. So why is it that you're here talking about, if we're talking about colorism, why are you talking about children? Like, I've never met one black woman who doesn't love children.
Exactly.
I mean, even in enslavement time, black women were looking after white women's children,
breastfeeding them.
Exactly. So there's no history of black women harming children or mistreating children. Yeah, they're talking about their experience, right? And that's what we're trying to fix that experience, right? And you can be a part of the fixing. You can be a constructive member. Find a constructive member, whether she's black or mixed. It's up to you. We're not forcing you. And then practice black betterment. But I don't know if that's appealing to you. Is that appealing?
He said that he wants his own community, doesn't he? He said.
But the issue with your community is your community predicated upon one European man having a child of an African man. Because does that mean that that means, so now you, like, for end of time, you're constantly trying to find a black man who's with a white man so you can have a member. Because here's what's going to happen, right? I'm letting you know, here's what's going to happen. You're going to say it's biracial, but then it's going to become the paper bag, because it's going to become light-skinned people. That's the inevitable, isn't it? Because you have to run around trying to track every kind of. What are you saying? Okay, are you going to try to set up websites where white men marry black women or whatever it is, and then put the offspring into a special group and then try to?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even go.
You know what I mean? So what you're going to do is you're going to do the brown paper bag where you just go, oh, you don't forget all this. All that skin people, yeah, we're a group. But we've done that before. It's not a good idea. It failed miserably. Yeah.
Yeah, but what? But okay. So what are you saying that because he's saying that it's just a mixed race group? How is he going to monitor that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're right. It's cringe, brother Foster. It is. That's why we're saying you fix up. The thing is, me being honest, the brother of Foster, and there's been others who've jumped on before. There's like some kind of forums where people of mixed heritage go in there, and then they have issues, whatever it is, and then they have responses and they have civil wars. And I'm aware of it because I've been mentioned like that. People tell me here's what's going on, right? And one brother jumped on, and I think he wanted to make the golden community a couple months back. But every
golden community,
yeah, and it's some next thing. But what I found from it was overload of trauma, overload of trauma, and I try to be very, very careful how I speak because I don't want to add to the trauma, right? And once again, I think the real people you need to speak to is your parents. Your parents, like why did you not prepare me? Because I know you really love the European woman and she really loved the African man, whatever. Why haven't you prepared me for the reality of the world? Or why do you give me something to fight for, something to change? Because now I feel like I'm divided, and everywhere I go, I'm self-sabotaging. You see? You should.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I just need you to make a decision, kind of thing. Like, and I know it's not down to me, but that's my whole thing. I think if you're gonna be one thing, stick on it.
Of course.
So if he's saying that he just classes himself as I don't know, like biracial or mixed race or mixed heritage, then and that's the group he wants to identify in. But understand that you're now othering yourself from this community. So therefore, that's why I said it's the same as an Asian talking on us or a white. You don't get this dual, like you see this dual pass because of this dual heritage is a madness. Like it really is, bro. Like it, you know what I mean? You're either one or the other in the game of where we're living at and in the moment, in the current climate of this world. That's it. Because you can't be talking and one step in and one step out and then think that that's not obvious to people or that's not going to offend people. You can't talk about an experience or in a community that you don't have no regard for, you don't have no respect for, you just use so you have a voice in a topic only to just put them people down. But yet you would never do that on the other side and think that we're not noticing that, because that's what I said, it's just a common theme that's coming up. The Ling Ching woman, who's not even Chinese, that you're always mentioning. This guy, there's another Driscoll or Driscoll guy. Like there's so many at this point now that it's just, it's like I keep saying to you, bro, like I've yet to see another Akala. Like, yet to turn out another Akala. It's constantly this kind of mentality.
So I mean, he said, if Raven was mixed race in his mouth, I'm free to speak on whatever he's. I don't know what that means. As in, are you saying that if I'm speaking on mixed race issues, you can speak? Well, we're hearing it's a case study.
How many black men are like Akala? Watch him a lot, to be honest.
Quite a lot. Quite, most of the men who jump on the panel, right? You know what I mean? You know, you said to check out.
But it's not for, and this is the confusion, Foster. It's not for black men to be Akala, right? Akala, in your words, is mixed race, and this is the problem. Like this is the constant confusion. I don't expect a black man to be like Akala, right? Because Akala's mixed heritage. I'm looking for the next set of mixed heritage people who are like Akala. Akala's the only golden star that keeps getting mentioned. It's been how many years now? It's Kala. You lot ain't got no one else. I could churn out black men that are like black men who are supposed to be black men, right? I'm on a channel called Black Betterment with a black man as an owner with another brother who's called King Kojo, who literally is talking Black Betterment. It's currently happening right now. Again, where's the next Akala?
Name a black man who has come on this platform who rates. Brother Kel, I rate the consistency of what he does and when he came on. Very, very important brother. I'm rating King Kojo coming on and expressing himself.
Dominique, like we could keep going.
Dominique, brother, of course. Once again, there's people behind the scenes who do tremendous work, like Brother Dominique.
Brother Daniel used to come. Like we could keep going. Like you could only just keep just there's brothers on there that we rate. But...
Yeah, of course. And you said the angry biracial. We've case studied his videos before. This is the gentleman who's, I think his mother's black and maybe his mother was black. Let me check. He wrote on his thing. Hold on. He says that. He says, hold on. He says, black father, Egyptian mother, biracial author. That's what he says on there. Yeah, and he's a brother who's married a dark-skinned woman, and he's very pro-black woman, but he's very heavy critical of black men.
Who's this?
It's a brother called the Angry Biracial. We've covered his stuff before. I think he might be a person who Foster really admires with him. But the thing
he's pro-black women.
He's pro-black women, and he's
anti-black men.
Very much anti-black men. Very much anti-black men. He's had some run-ins because I think a lot of the black women tried to champion him, especially in the pink pill community. But I think things came out that they weren't. I think his history came out, and they weren't best pleased with some of the choices he's made. Maybe something might be seen as he was grifted. Oh yeah, he's a grifter.
He panders to black women who hate black men.
Yeah, the thing is,
I was trying to say
this topic of like hate bait or whatever it's called and grifting and stuff, it was going to be this week, but because there's so many topics we couldn't do it. But one thing is, look at a divided community, go for the weakest you can, and just prop up one side of it. So you look at black men and black women arguing, prop up black men or prop black women, you're going to get followed. But what I'm saying is, what might be a better idea is who's based on unification, who's actually based on codification of I value black families, I value black economics, I value black health. And if black women and black men are not doing that, what can we do to make them do that? Rather than you're wrong, he's wrong, she's wrong, they're wrong. Let's make fun of each other. But go on, sister, you wanted to say something.
But it's also the fact of, can you see again, it's like the conversation of colorism doesn't happen.
No, is that of course.
Now it's about like, and even the example that he's saying about this guy, right? Because I have heard, that's why I was asking, because that name does sound familiar. I think you have, I do recognize him as you're both talking about him.
Yeah.
But even in regards to this, in regards to him pandering as a mixed race person, he saw the dynamics within the black community. I don't know what he classes himself as, because apparently at one point he was pro mixed. Oh, he does, right? So he overs the situation within the black community, and then obviously he's a grifter. So at one point he was anti-black women. Now he's jumped on the black women because that's more profitable. And this is what I mean. So we have people who come in as like agents of confusion.
Yes.
And now it's, they don't like, let's generate the hate. Let me leverage off of the emotion and the feelings within this, which are justified emotions and feelings because we're human and we get to react to something that's directly for us or our betterment. But it's also profitable because ain't nothing more better to watch for the outside community than us, mulling each other to death. So it's like, and then meanwhile, that's the conversation. And then the colorism conversation, as per usual, don't happen.
No.
Right, and this is what constantly happens, right? So even with this guy, this Foster guy, not Foster, sorry, this mixed race guy that we're talking about, that's doing all of this drifting. He's part biracial, yeah. He's just part of the problem that I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying. If we take the emotion out and just look at statistics, there is people from a certain type of background that are entering themselves into the black community conversation, and this is what they're constantly adding: anger, gender, hate between each other, setting us off against each other, putting down the real important conversations and bringing it to black women hating children. It's just. At that point, after you've had all of that against you, you don't even want to then have the conversation. It's such a proper it's a real tactic that's getting used here to stop the real conversation to happening.
So if we look at so he was very critical about black men, and he uses terms like kangs, which is a white supremacist term to mock when black people say we were kings or black men say we were kings. So he would be using this. So it's interesting because at one point he wants to be pro-black woman, but not understand that, and this we say to the black men as well, right? You can't be pro-black woman and then make fun of black man, or vice versa, because
we need each other.
Without each other, You know what I mean? That's just some sci-fi channel kind of stuff you're dealing with, right?
It really is.
You know what I mean? So it's like, when is the person gonna come up and say, there's an issue in the community and I'm here to fix it? So even though you're not right, you're not wrong, you're not right, you're not right, it's just we want, and that's why I always ask people when they're talking, what are your views on black love and black families? And that's when the arim and lovers don't come, and I'm just trying to stop the hate. It's all this kind of stuff, but they have no issue on actually the importance of black men and black women come together.
It just goes back to the centering, isn't it? It's like, if you're talking about black, that's just something that I didn't realize, that listen to discussion, having the discussion, seeing the input from people from mixed heritage, is that it really comes down to, like, you promoting that is the eradication of me.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to. And I didn't even think that was even I didn't even think that was a factor or thought that someone would have in regards to black love. I didn't even, that was something that I did learn being on these panels. And I think that's interesting. But then also I kind of think, like, okay, well, if we're talking in regards to the black love, the black and white dynamics to create a mixed heritage child, don't you still need a fully black person to carry on the mixed race? Like, if you're really going to put yourself as a race, like a separate category, Foster, then you're still going to need the dynamics of a fully black person and a white person in order to make. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I know that there could be some other parts about it, but then again, that's when it gets confusing.
So here's what he's saying. So his thing is it's highlighting. So when we say, so we're saying that we're trying to promote black men picking black women. His thing is, I'm angry that you're stopping the interracial relationships. That's what he's saying, as in, like, you're trying to stop black men from picking white women, and to make black men default pick black women.
He says, I've had no issue with black love, and I've said that, and I've never said anything that suggests that I am. So, and I'm glad that he said that, though, to be honest with you, that there is a difference of promoting black love and hating on interracial relationships, because I think that we do that here. I think we just promote black love.
Yeah.
I think it gets interrupted, and I think that people who have their own triggers when they hear a black love put something else on it,
of course,
and they decide what it is. Yeah, but I think effectively that I come on here. When I do come on here, and I've been supporting this show for a long time, I've never come on here with any other intention but to promote black betterment in its literal sense. And of course, that means black love.
Yeah, of course. Black families. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And here's what it is. You, as a one black parent member, can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that. Yeah. Like the white man says you can't. He won't let you in his community to do any of that. Yeah. But the black man is saying you can. Why would I be triggered over black love? That's literally makes no sense. Well, we don't know. What we're saying is, okay, so let's just.
Do you believe that we promote? So, what's the inklings that you get from our discussions? Is it a promotion of black love, or is it a promotion of interracial? Is it a promotion of hating on interracial relationships?
I don't think it's hate. I just feel like we're trying to love ourselves,
Absolutely. I agree, brother Kojo.
Definitely.
I'd like to know what Brother Foster thinks as well. If he thinks that the rhetoric that he's hearing is
why would it to another one parent black person? Write your thing down
with good values, so that regardless of my skin color, I can make positive impact on the world. Other mixed people of note that did great impact for the black community would be someone like Bob Marley, Malcolm X, and even Booker T. Washington. So if anyone has any great suggestions of how we can eradicate colorism, I would love to know.
Yeah, well, create media companies that promote black love. Have magazines.
So is he saying that this is a suggestion of how to eradicate it? What we're watching there?
I think he's asking the question. I think the way he's coming across is like, oh man, these people are complaining. Like, what do you want to do about it? And like, and it's, I don't know. It's almost like, yeah. Why would I? Oh, so this
because the problem goes back way further to those guys like William Lynch and all those guys that specifically divided black people by color light-skinned slaves in the house, dark-skinned slaves in the field. And it's disingenuous to point your finger at successful black men and say you are the problem.
No one,
Wow.
no sister has said you're the problem. What they're doing is highlighting colorism as it's happening in the mainstream, right? They're highlighting it, and they bring up a topic because it's a topic that unfortunately black men don't want to bring up, right? And
I just feel like
go ahead.
no, I just feel like he doesn't acknowledge slavery, transatlantic slavery, how it begins, and you know how black man and black woman being separated in the dungeons, and you know how the slave masters, you know how I don't know, you know the R word, and you see how the color was started. I just feel like he doesn't acknowledge slavery. He just making us look bad and just judging us, but he doesn't acknowledge trans slavery from the slave dungeons.
You're right. I think he's going on defense for. I think he feels kind of slighted in some ways that maybe the black men were innocent, and he feels that they're being persecuted, and he's trying to defend black men. Well, I don't think that's. I don't know why he would need to do that, and I don't agree with his analysis.
Here's a photograph taken of this Nala video shoot. There are significant black girls here. It's not like black girls are not represented here. There's black fathers here that are showing an example of how.
Hold on, there's a white dude in the background. Who's that? Who's that? You can't see my screen, but top left, there's a white dude hiding behind someone's shoulder. Maybe.
Oh yeah, of course, and that's what I was thinking as well. Even can you see how they've hidden him as well? See the little baby. Yeah, exactly. And this is what I mean. They're not helping them. Like for me, it's like who set this up? Like I feel as well. Do you know what it is as well, bro? Like if we're being honest, like this video was on the guise of many videos that I've seen before, where it has been a promotion of black family. Like it looks very similar to other videos. It's very themed on, obviously, of black culture, black celebration of black love and black family. So of course, as black men, they've probably been around it, seen it. They've probably got some producers, whoever in this, who've got some sort of adjacent to the black community. But then when you look at it on paper, on print, or on screen, and then the images that were showing, you didn't see much of two melanated families together with their child. But when you freeze frame it, you can see some. But unfortunately, the images that were getting promoted were not that. Clearly, like you had to literally freeze frame it and look at it and you get to see it. But the way that you've sanctioned this thing to come out, we saw what got promoted, you saw what got flashed, you saw you got the main parts of the discussions, the interviews, we saw that. You literally have to stop it here to see any of that. Like if you never stopped it here, I honestly would have thought that there was no black women in this at all, to be honest with you. One that I don't know, is she looks kind of actually. Well, I'll leave it. Everyone's got eyes. Like, see, it's not things are not just standing. It's not shouting out to me, basically. So, and this is and like I said, you've had to stop frame this. If you never would have done this, I would never have thought that this much melanated people were even in the video.
That's what the women were talking about, as in the lineup where they had all the rappers talk about why they love their daughters, whatever. A lot of them, if not all, pretty much 92%. It was darker skinned brother. Or a brother who his daughter was considering like. Now the thing is, we don't want to be like I said, the children beautiful, free from all this. It's more so a bigger question of, does the UK rap scene, or just UK in general, does it have a colorist issue and a self-hate issue? The answer is yes. The data tells us yes. We understand that black men date out at a higher rate, and this increases tremendously the more richer and wealthier they get, right? So it's like if you practice black betterment, you want to. Here's what I don't understand about the general conversation, right? We understand that black people have gone through a tremendous trauma. There's a tremendous amount of self-hate. We're economically at the bottom in so many avenues. Why do they think that all these things are not going to affect the choices that we make? What do they think that all this stuff is going to put to the side and make an informative decision? Everything's going to have an influence. And if we recognize that, if we can look at the outcomes that we think are happening naturally, if the natural outcomes don't work in the collective best interest of black people, i.e., we're not owning the industries, we're not marrying our own people, we're dying at a high rate in certain areas, we're being arrested at a certain rate in certain areas, then we have to go, okay, something must be done. You see, something must be done. And the sisters are highlighting that one of the things, one of the Malengos that we talk about, the Malengo is black families. Yeah, and let's just make it clear: if you marry a non-black member, that means that's the first member of your family. Therefore, meaning you don't have a black family because the first member of your family is not black. So how can you have a black family where the first member isn't black, regardless of the definition of the offspring? Yeah. If the first member isn't black, you can't have a black family. So, that is what's interesting is I reckon there would have been a massive riot, whatever, if he told you, bring the wives of your children. I think he split up with his wife, so maybe they can do that.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. There's no women there, but there's not supposed to technically be any women there, and it's the father and their children.
But had he have not been split up, maybe the thing was bring your mother of your children, and that might have been a different story altogether.
That would have that would have shut the conversation down,
Question for you: why do you think black men date out more average than black women?
That's a good question.
To our sister Kushti from Brother Foster.
I think, like we've said many times, the conditioning, Bro Foster. I think, like the conditioning that both Brother Kojo and Brother Raven has mentioned that we've suffered against. And I think that, they've been susceptible a bit more to the programming than black women, clearly. I think that, like I've said to Raven a few times, like we've all sat down, saw the same media, we've all, gone to the same type of schools. We've all technically kind of, especially like our generation, kind of grow up in similar households, but it seemed to have affected the black brothers in this community a bit more than, and I think it's, the imagery, the status thing, I think all of that has a thing. So the imagery that we constantly see, that, white is right, the white woman is the pinnacle. They believed in that, when you see black media who have done great things, unfortunately, mainly it's in sports or music, and they've seen what they date. And I think they've just been subjected to all of that propaganda more so than black women. Black women, at a point, were still like infatuated, intoxicated with the idea of black love. They're still, no matter what the propaganda stated, black men were still always king to them. They couldn't put them down. So I think it's a factor of all of that. I think that that's the case in the UK, though. If we're talking about, the continent, we're talking about the Caribbean, I don't think that that's the case. I think in the UK, that's specifically the case. And I think also that notion of, what Raven made clear in regards to black love, we've heard black men on here say that if I have a child with outside race, it's still a black child. So this notion of I've still got a black family because I might be the only black man there. You might have a portrait and I'm the only black man there. I'm the granddad and I'm the only black one there. Because of his ego, he still feels that is a black family. It could be whiter and whiter, the generations going along after him in that portrait. But to him, that's a black family. We've seen that over and over again. So therefore, like exactly that, what Brothers Raven shown, or even on the last image that he paused on, a lot of men will class themselves as having a black family. So it's that illusion as well. It will not happen until they are totally wiped out, till they look back and be like, damn. Like, I do believe that, like, UK is a lost cause. I do believe that we're heading to, like, Argentina. I mean, look at that image right there as well that Brother Raven has just displayed. All these things are going to affect a young boy, that every single time you see someone who looks like you doing well, that everyone's cheering for, everyone loves, who's successful, and yet somehow there's a pattern. People can act like there's not a pattern. They don't see it all the time. We're talking about from media to music to politicians. Brother Raven can show you the same type of images, and we think that this is not going to affect the children. It's going to affect them. It affects grown men. But I just can't tell you why it didn't happen with black women. I think that now there is a shift with black women, but I would say that before, no. But up to now, I don't know. I feel the stats might start changing with black women. But with black men, this is what we've seen for history. So that's the reason why.
Yes.
But I think you know that, Brother Foster. Yeah,
I
often
think he does know that. And I would say this.
By the father.
If
Exactly.
if I can say something, I think unfortunately there was a time in history. So we go back in time, in the enslavement times. Unfortunately, what happened was the laws were that black men were not allowed to be with white women, but white men were allowed to be with black women by force. Right? This meant, from a historical standpoint, the black women were very wary of white men because of the dangers of what they did. Yeah. That's why we fought, but black men were more wary of what will happen to them if they took a white woman. But when the laws changed, there was this incentive to have what the white man had because they had romanticized it all their lives, right? And that's why you have men marching to be able to marry Europeans, this kind of stuff, right? And then there's the concept of like media ownage. So Europeans own media, and they are showing themselves as the highlight of the world. And if black men do not own media, they are consuming this media and they're believing in it. But not only that, by having a European wife and these kind of stuff, you are having different access to different kind of channels. Maybe you're more likely to be put on a magazine, as some people were saying. All these things are becoming appealing, right? For black men. Yeah. Also, the phenotype of blackness is being demonized. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the role of black people to market the beauty standards of the phenotype. So if the phenotype of blackness is being demonized, that means that you are then painting the picture that black people are lesser than. So then you're now making people want less to be with something. That's why it's the role of the black man to market the phenotype of black people as better than or as appealing. You see? But and one of the ways you do that is by showing off things you most desire. And obviously when we're watching TV and social media, all we're seeing in high amounts is all the celebrities, no matter who they are, a high ratio turnover of extremely dark-skinned men being with extremely light to blonde women. These are our politicians here. These are all of them. You know, I was trying to find ones. I might find a black woman, and most of the black women, if they're not, they're probably with nobody. The one or two I found, right? Yeah, a very consistent thing going on. A very consistent thing going on.
That's why I'm actually so disappointed. I think that's why I just don't rate. I just don't understand the dealings with Krept on that marketing at all. Like, I think he knows that we all know the dynamics right now within the culture. Him more than anything, because he has a product brand for, I think, mixed race hair. I think it's called Nyla or something like that. Like, I don't think he's very ignorant in regards to the colorism conversation. And the fact that he actually had an array, like if we're talking about black fathers, because that's what it was supposed to be about, right? Yeah. It would have been good for him to have shown black brothers who dip out, black brothers who stay in. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro? Like, it would be good if he would have pushed that message more, because there's a lot of good brothers out there who are getting bashed because of this conversation, who are with the culture. Do you understand what I mean?
I understand what I'm saying, but unfortunately, this might be the case. If we look here, this is the UK football team, right? If we're saying from 39, only 5 were pick. Oh no, so 39, only 7 were black. That means if you're talking, if he's saying I want to have interviews with the top UK rappers he knows, yeah, there's a chance that most of them are not married to black women, or married to a light skinned person, right? Ranging from a white to light ratio. So that means that there's nothing he can do amongst his circle, because all of his friends, as was demonstrated, because they're all guys he collaborate. And the thing is, with a lot of these rappers,
and carry on with that, bro. Carry on with that, because that brings me to the conversation that we used to have about certain black people being able to talk on certain topics.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people.
Because if you say that and you're right to say that, yeah, and come in and be like, actually, sis, that might just be his reality. Like, his reality is that there's probably no brothers that's around him that are actually within the cult, who dated within the culture.
Yeah, it could be that
Mad
high.
as that sounds. It actually coming out of my mouth. I hate how it sounds, but I know that that's absolutely 100% a high probability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, when we're talking about what we need to see, because propaganda wins, clearly propaganda has brought us to this point here. And when we're talking about how we should see media and what should be promoted and who should be championed to talking about our things, if he's doing a video about his actual real life experience, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why him? I know that sounds bad, but it's like we need more people who are promoting within the culture, because if this is his reality, that's one thing. But then when we're talking about to media, it's now a media tool, and it's now another tool to add to the other images that we're constantly seeing of Black brothers dating out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas had he have made an image with some of his brothers that were dating in, some of his brothers that were dating out, and just see it as an array of things, or even more of something, you know, when we're talking about the propaganda of media, that would have been better. But as you said, he's not even gonna, although I don't believe he's not even gonna think of that, because he's in that area where his business is, he can just fall back lazily on, well, this is my life and this is the image. And so therefore I'm inadvertently adding to the more propaganda of, he might as well be another advert that I'm seeing on these Christmas adverts of one black man and another white woman. Like, he's just adding to that. He doesn't his stuff is not standing out as, oh my gosh, look at that, like Black love finally. Like,
I don't know. Depends. Look, this is me being very harsh to black rappers generally, right?
Yeah, I like when you're harsh. It's good. We don't hear enough of that. So
but the thing is, I don't think many black rappers are that way inclined to even understand propaganda and optics. Like, they don't understand. I think
they understand it when it hits that, but they understand it when it hits them.
When Jewish people, if they make fun of other groups and stuff,
exactly,
they understand it then. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when I say this term that black men in the UK particularly, but the worldwide, but let's look at black men have not recovered from being conquered by white men. Everything you're seeing is a byproduct of that truth. And that's why I always want to start every conversation that way. Because what will happen is, if you stand up and you say, I think we should like have optics, like, even though the reality is the majority of your black friends will not have married a black woman, whatever it is, I think you should try to go out and find even like specialists who have married black women just to balance out. They'll say, oh, all that stuff, that's whatever. And that's why you have to say, but you do understand that as black men, we haven't recovered from being conquered by white men. And then when you say from that standpoint, then now there's a conversation to be had. Like, because right now it's almost like you are the bothersome person by trying to promote black families. You are the one who is backwards, back in the olden days. But when you put it like that, like, the reason we are doing this is because we are still in an inferior position collectively. And we are perpetuating this narrative that we don't value black women, even though it is seemingly innocent that you've walked out in the street and you've married a white woman, and then your friend walked out in the street and he's married a white woman, and your other friends walked out in the street and then you think, like, it's all innocent. Yeah, but it's like, actually, it's now systemic. It's now it's now a pattern. It's like, oh, look, all the black men are in jail. There's no pattern there. Nothing's happening. This just happened. The white men are free. He did the same crime, and the black men are in jail. No, it's not. It's just the weather's cold. No, you see, this is what I'm saying. Yeah,
he just happened to get stopped 17 times more than the white man. Yeah, exactly.
If you want to talk to a black man, go, I understand that, bro. But here's what it is: we understand that the black man has not recovered from being conquered by the white man. Because of that truth, we need to have ways of presenting media that shows black people in a constructive light, so we can recover from being conquered.
Exactly.
And we cannot recover from being conquered if every time our most top plentiful man is on TV, they are picking the daughters of a white man. Do you understand? Yeah. It's so
I would recommend they don't even overs that. Like, they, even though he's got, you really don't think they get it though, bro.
No, it's not they don't get. I'm just being honest. I just think that
they don't care.
I think that it's not they don't care. It's like, like, there was a time where this was normal, and then because so much has happened, it's no longer a normal thing. They've moved on to the next challenge, right? So the first challenge, it might have been back in the day, it might have been something like, you've got to love black people, whatever. The next challenge, you've got to love people, and it's that it keeps on moving to the point is kumbaya, isn't it? But I'm saying you have to press the reset button on black men, and what's the reset button? You do understand that black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, right? See, because what you're doing is when you talk about women, men have a way to put women as somewhat of a prize or a possession or something that needs to be achieved. Because it's not you don't compete with women, you earn women, or you impress women, right? But when you mention the man, that's when the reset button happens. You go, black man, would you say that collectively you've recovered from being conquered by the white man? And they go, that's inappropriate. Oh, well, hold on. What do you mean by that? They go, is there anything that black men collectively do that demonstrates they've recovered from being conquered by white men? Because right now, are you saying that by marrying white women at a high rate is demonstrating that we've recovered from being conquered by white men? And I go, explain that to me, black man. Explain that how you are marrying European women, the men who conquered you, at a high rate, higher than any other people, is a demonstration that you have recovered from being conquered by the white man. But let me tell you something. I'm letting you know, because when I talk this way, right? Everywhere I've gone in the speakers corner community, on the internet, when I'm talking to a black man and they're talking the talk, and I say, have black men recovered from being conquered by white men? It's a full stop. It's a reset button.
Yeah.
The program starts fighting back on itself, and you're actually forcing them to think that, oh my goodness, you know what? I keep on thinking that we're one people and kumbaya, but and they start exploding. And then
crazy.
The ice on the cake is, I know you love the door of the white man, but does the door of the white man support reparations? That's when their heart explodes. That's when they realize, oh my goodness, I've spent my entire life giving this woman half my fortune, and she doesn't even respect reparations.
They're gonna see the reality for real.
And it's too late.
Yeah,
because it's even like what's happening with, I don't know if you I'm sure you heard about, Kendrick Lamar's comment.
Yeah.
Which was about the two black boys that went to exactly.
Yeah.
Went to Angel shows, and I'm just saying, like, I've been saying about like this image for these UK black men is looking peak. It's like literally we've got our own caricature now. They're literally black sellouts who are just, the fact that like, it's just so shameful.
It's we haven't recovered from being conquered. I think that because if you put in that framework, you then allow the black man to justify their actions. Yeah, if you go, have you recovered from being conquered? Yeah, and go demonstrate that. Give me the collection of things that you have done as a collective to recover from white men conquering you. I'm telling you, when you do that, you now have a new chapter, and now they have to justify why they've spent so many time and effort giving their resources away and not working as a collective. Yeah, this is the technique. This is the campaign. I'm letting you know, Brother Raven maybe got the places where you're going to find synchronized black men.
What you're saying is maybe go to the places where you're
it's not. We don't have to go anywhere. When you put out the back signal, whatever, constructive black people find you. Yeah, and to be honest with you, this is a perfect platform for it. It's a very small under the radar program that when people hear about it, if they're intrigued by the constructive nature, they come back and we talk and we build from that, right? And the thing is, this stuff is kryptonite to the unsynchronized black man.
Literally,
when they hear this, or just black people in general who are unsynchronized, when they hear this, their heart explodes, right? But what's good about it is when black people who love black people hear this message, they know there's a place for them. They know their efforts will be respected. They understand that we're trying to be constructive. This ain't fun and sexy and fireworks. No, sir. This is more constructive. This is more consistent. This is actually like fine cutting. You know what I mean? And this is what we do here. And it's a step
fine dining over here, bro.
It's fine dining. It's not McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we do. Yeah. So that's the answer to you, bro. So
I did say to him as well, you might as well say go back to your country on that one. Like it literally sounded like,
of course. Yeah. Well, and this is what we hear. But I want you to know that regardless of what you're saying, know you're loved. Yeah. Know you're loved. And what I'm saying is you won't find that kind of love in the other communities. You won't do it. No. You'll find it here. But the only thing we ask for you is when you're ready to be synchronized, just make sure you practice black families, black economics, and black health. Yeah. There's a Pan African conference next year in Gambia organized. Yeah, okay. I think yeah.
Andrews, so big up. I like that's the thing about like so. Big up Brother Foster for putting that out there as well. Still, like, are you know? It's interesting that you still are aware of things like this within the community. You know, it's not even like he's talking about a random cliche like a rapper or an artist. He's genuinely talking about, you know, something that I don't know what he's going to say about it after. I know, I mean, what activist starts a movement on YouTube or Speaker's Corner. Okay, well, I'll let Brother Raven answer that afterwards, but I was going to say...
Brother Foster, I mean, you have to understand that you are here now. So whether you approve or disapprove of YouTube and Speaker's Corner, you are in the space of a person who started that way, you see. Now, the question you have to ask is, what is being said about black men loving black women that offends you so that you would try to make a comment such as that? What is it about that? What is so dangerous? Unless I don't understand. But once again, Foster, know you are loved. And whenever you want to speak, you're welcome to come on here to try to justify your actions. But at the end of the day, we promote a lifestyle, meaning that I'm probably the worst person of all time when it comes to unifying black people. I'm going to say I'm the very, very worst, right? But what you're going to find is I'm consistent. I'm very consistent. And hopefully someone like yourself...
Why would you say you're the worst type?
No, I'm talking to him, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. I want him to see me as the worst type, right? Yeah, as in I've got the least reach, I've got whatever it is. But you might be someone who's 20 times better than me, innit? So all you need to do is take the good stuff that you see here and push it. But the truth is, I don't think you necessarily care about whether I have reach, whether I'm good or whether, you know, I'm popular. Yeah. I think you're more concerned that there's a constructive message that we're pushing and you're not best pleased with it. So that's why you are talking about the individual and not the ideology, you see? Because the ideology is going to live longer than the individual. So that's why anytime any brother ever speaks like the Brother Foster's there, I let them know that I am to be viewed as the world's worst in all things. But the only thing I'm going to be is consistent and spreading black love. And because you are in a superior position to myself, how about you try taking this and doing it? This happens all the time on the internet. I talk to people online. I might say one or two clever words and they go, oh, but you know, you've only got this amount of followers. I go, well, you're right. I'm inferior to you. But do you mind now using your platform to promote it so you can help black people? Then it's like, oh, well, I didn't think you were going to say that. I thought you were going to cuss me back. No, sir. There's no need. I'm saying that I could be the world's worst person of all time. As long as black people are doing good, I'm smiling. Yeah. So
you're definitely being consistent. You've definitely shown up for the black people now. Like, you know, there's one thing to talk and there's another thing to be showing up, being consistent, you know, sticking on your word, not swaying to what's trendy or, you know, opting in or backsliding like we constantly see in the community. And I mean, look how it's backfired on us. Like, and this is what I'm saying as black men in the UK. I mean, look at the track record currently. This man has literally been immortalized in a Kendrick Lamar tune for being a sellout. So it's like, yeah.
But remember, family, we're in a case study mode, and Brother Foster, he's going through a kind of a reality check in some regards, as in like what he's doing now, and this, I hope you don't mind us bringing up, brother, is your focus on individual people over ideologies, right? And I tend to only see that when something has been said that is very crucial. So if we can backtrack, I don't know if is it that black men being conquered? Is it not supporting reparations? There's something that has been said that really has hit some idea that's really hit a mark. And that because I hit a mark, he's like, matter of fact, brother, you know what's very important? We're going to give you the ideology that you might have missed. And I
did ask you, Foster, do you think that the rhetoric on here is promoting black love or hating racial relationships?
So family, we look at these bad intentions, and that is whenever black people get together and try to do something, this is where bad intentions happen. You see, the first B stands for benefit. Other people want to benefit in some, they want to be the beneficiaries and benefit. If they cannot benefit, they want to annihilate it. Like, if I can't benefit, it has to go. If they realize they just can't annihilate it, then they go, I must delay it. I must delay it as much as I can. I see this everywhere I go, and you notice it because they never focus on the ideology, right? They always try, let me see, this is too solid. Like, it makes sense. Black families, black health, black economics. Oh, how can I destroy it? No, let me go after the individual. And then they try the many different techniques in it. So remember, family, if you go out there and you try to promote black love, see if they have bad intentions.
You are showing up as bad intentions,
bad
brother.
intentions, brother. Bad intentions.
You're taking all of this, see it there? It's there in black and white there.
There you go. And this is the science, you see. These are the science that we're dealing with. So whenever brothers, unsynchronized brothers, sisters, people who are not in the community, they hear us, they go for they want to benefit, they want to annihilate, or they want to delay. Which one, if you had to pick one, brother Foster, which one would you say you're more, 1, 2, or 3? Which one, if any?
So you're talking to me, Raven?
No, he's talking to Brother Foster.
Remember, we do case studies here.
Let's let Brother Foster answer first.
Yeah, I think Raven panders to a certain type of black woman, kind of like a poor vision of angry biracial. Right. So when it comes to black women, you do understand that black men marrying black women is for black people. You understand how that works, right? Like, here's what it is. If black women value being with black men more than black men value being black women, then that shows that we have not recovered from being conquered. Because all black men should be talking about how to unite the community, right? Brother Foster, just for us to learn, can you tell us one thing that we say here that is not correct, that is beneficial to black men, that is not beneficial to black people collectively improving? Can you just give one ideology, one thing we're saying on the Black Betterment Broadcast that doesn't work in the collective best interest of black people? You can take your time because it might take you long. Because what I'm trying to highlight to you, brothers and sisters, is bad intentions. You see? And unfortunately, if you are constructive and you love black people, you have to deal with bad intentions. Benefit others, annihilate, or delay.
He needs to answer my question after that one as well, because after you've answered Brother Raven's question, I'll give you my question in the chat.
So what he's saying is, this channel, let me put it up there, gives. But all right, so once again, and this is the thing. Now the thing is, brother, you might not identify as a black man, but you might be subject to much of the low self-esteem propaganda that many of our brothers go through, right? And we're saying how we will boost your self-esteem is through a consistent trial of black betterment. Now, what you're saying is the things we're saying here is going to demoralize black men. Not so. The way we have to see it is you have to imagine black men or black people in general are lost in the league. And if they don't play better, they're going to be relegated. But even though they're lost, they generally believe they're not going to get relegated. They believe they made the 7th, but they haven't looked on the chart. So what we're saying is, no, brothers, we're lost in the league. And if we don't start doing these activities, we're going to get renegade. That doesn't mean that you dislike black men. It just means you love your people so much that you give them the truth. Yeah. Now, that's me answering your question. Do you want to answer Sister's question now? Because I think, what was the question, Sister?
Yeah, he said, because when he said there that, your vibe only caters to, I think, Raven panders to a certain type of black women, kind of like a full version of an angry biracial. I was like, be careful, because that stone that you're hitting might hit, like you're throwing, might hit many. Yeah, because it's like, as a black woman, I'm going to want to know what type of black woman now that he's pandering to. And he said that, I think he did answer, black women who are angry at black men who date non-black women. So I'm going to let him know that, I said to him, I don't agree. I appreciate him answering both questions, but I don't agree, because I'm not angry at black men who date out. And this is what I'm saying. Like, my focus is on black men who are about progression, and black women who are about progression of the black family, the black progression of us as a community. That is my focus. So and you'll see many times that Raven will tell us often, let's not get angry over this. Let's look at this logically. You'll hear Brother Kojo today many times talk about looking at the historical factor, the traumatic factor, the other elements. So, I don't think that this is the channel to be angry at black men who date out. I'm personally not angry. I'm indifferent, to be honest with you. I just care less. There's many times where you sort of see me say that when certain black men have said that they're not coming to black women, I've said that that's actually a blessing in disguise. So yeah, I don't think that the black women here that take to Raven are not the black women who even got the energy to be angry at men who date out. You know, it's their loss, and more times they can have them. You know, and that's definitely the opinions of Christy. I'm not saying Raven says that, but yeah,
we have black people were systematically destroyed, so we have to systematically rebuild, right? So that means if we see patterns and dot connecting concepts that doesn't work in the collective best interest of black people, we then add something to it to make the outcome work more in the collective best interest of our people. No one is crying if Michael Jackson marries Elvis Presley's daughter. No one's crying. No one's like, oh no, I can't sleep at night. What we're saying is we recognize there's a value in black men valuing black women, and we know that the way the media is set up that's a hard thing to actually get across. So we want to create media hubs that do just that. We want to look after our people. I keep telling the example of hip hop, right? Back in the old day in hip hop, you have a rapper who would make fun of 5 communities, right? 5. And what would happen is 4 of those communities, would have think tanks and people who are trained to protect them. So they would stop the black man from making fun of those 4 communities. But because we don't have those think tanks united here in the black community, it would just say, okay, allow the black man to at least make fun of black people. So you can't make fun of the Jewish people, the Chinese people, the European people, whatever. But you can't make fun of black people. So let's even do that because there's no one looking out for the collective best interests of black people. Well, not as a unified kind of front. Yeah. So what we do is we have those kind of think tanks where it's like, okay, these behaviors do not work in the collective best interest of black people. So we're going to try to push out in the internet world or in the media world things that does. And I think you understand that, brother. So that's why, and I respect you, brother, because you're coming on here to give your opinion. But once again, I challenge any black man or mixed black man or any member of the black community who is male or female, but let's say the males, to come in and prove me wrong. To give me the science where I'm wrong. Go. What you're doing is not helpful. It does not. If we follow that kind of script, black people will not progress. If black people love black people, have black families, have black economics, black health, we wouldn't improve. I go, okay. How did you work that out? You see.
It's so fascinating when to say that you're giving out or the label when you get told, this black man ain't ish kind of vibe, because it's like, actually, as a black man, if you see black men doing wrong around you and you're seeing a current vibe where, you've seen black men displayed a certain way and now you're seeing as a black man it's getting displayed a worse way, it actually makes sense as a man to stand up and call it out instead of pandering to it. It's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite for a man to stand up as a black man and be like, look, this is not of us. This is a bad look. As a black man, you shouldn't be acting like that. As a black man, we should carry ourselves this way. It's actually crazy to actually, as people within the community, to talk on a black man and who's displaying that action, and then to deem it as a man who actually thinks that black men ain't ish. As a black man, to stand up and say that we do need to do better, we are of better, this is not acceptable, this is cowardly behavior. That is the demonstration now of a black man who's saying that we ain't nothing, actually pandering to it, acknowledging it, letting it slide, knowing it's wrong, but not saying anything, being a sheep, is actually that black man ain't ish kind of ish, to be honest with you.
Yes, thank you, sister. And I say this, we are in the era. And that means everything we think is good is wrong because we're in the era. And that's why you will look at someone who is dedicated to making people improve and say that the opposite is true. Now, you have mentioned and tried to critique the panel from coming from a speaker's corner background, which is the most hardest area to debate, and I can assure you, right? But one thing when you come from this background is it's still sharp and still, right? So we come here, we when we start the show, we say no swearing, name calling. So we're not going to do that, but we are going to use the facts. So if I'm not name calling and I'm using the facts, what is it that I'm doing that's disrespectful? Can you see? So it's like if you was going any of these other channels where they throw chairs at each other, they make fun of each other's mums, and they talk about all kinds of stuff, I can understand that maybe. But when you come here, we have rules. We're to be respectful. Yeah. But I'm saying, are you trying to say that you're trying to limit the things we can say because some people who practice those things might not be best pleased? How should we tackle if we value black men recovering from being conquered by white men and doing activities that benefit the black community, and we give them a step-by-step guide of doing it? How can I do that without making people like yourself and other guests not best pleased? Give me the write down so how we can say these words that will make them best pleased, make them not offended by the things that's being said, and start practicing behaviors that work in the collective best interest of black people. Type in your
I think he's giving you an answer to that there. Look.
Well, when
when people are calling you out for sneak dissing or being patronizing, you saying that they're wrong.
Mate, listen. What I'm trying to demonstrate to you, brother, is the amount of sneaks that is done to me by yourself and others, right, is endless. Yeah. And I try to demonstrate in my behavior pattern that I am here for the collective best interest. That's why I say, see me as the world's worst. See me as a joke. Yeah. But love the ideology, not the individual. Yeah. This is what this is what I'm saying about we need people to put their egos aside and go,
Yes.
what we are saying is for the collective best interest of a community and not the individual feelings of the person. Yeah.
It's gonna sound like a hit dog hollering unless you can give him substantial things that he's saying which are wrong for stuff. If you're just gonna attack the individual, it does seem like hating. But it is the things that he's saying wrong. Like that's what he's asking you. Like he's asking you, what is it that he actually says out of his mouth that makes you think these things about him?
Yeah.
That he's like pandering or he's like a grifter, like he's for entertainment. Okay, he said, it's your ego that's the problem. Nobody's going to want to work with someone like you.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, then what I would recommend is take the ideology that you see might work best from a show like this, and use the ego that you think is most constructive to lead others, manage others to do what you think. Maybe people are not compatible. My friend, people used to mock me for not swearing at Speaker's Corner. People mock me for not using strong language. People used to mock me for
being respectful, for giving other people's an opinion, for allowing them to speak, to trying to talk reason to them, to doing all the things that you're telling him that he's not. You know, he's been literally mocked for those things.
I'm literally mocked for those things, as in you're not realistic. This is a robot mentality. All you're saying is I need to be even more. And what I'm saying is, brother, you might need to actually raise up rather than I come down.
Yeah, like it's all the people all the time, boy. That's crazy.
Okay. Well, brother, I'm saying that we're talking about public discourse or digital discourse of communicating, right? And I'm saying that I'm not making fun of you personally. I've not said that Foster is A or B. I've not said that, I'm saying that unfortunately, these are the characteristics of a people in decline. Yeah. And we can use the data. And I'm saying we can do these things to go from decline to progression. We can do these things. But once again, brother, you're being very vague. And brothers like you, you tend to not jump on the panel because of people like me. Now, if I was effing and blinding, people would jump on because then that would be the topic. So effing and blinding, that's fun entertainment and people are comfortable with that. But when I'm consistent, I'm saying that I recognize black men have not recovered from being conquered by white men. And here's the things I recommend we do. Black families, black health, black economics, we put down to a science and try to find templates to promote that. That's what we're doing. And anytime we see mass unsynchronization, meaning black men in mass are not marrying black women, black people in mass are not healthy, black people in mass are not starting businesses or coming up with trade or owning their own economics, we speak against it because we understand Malengo, the goal is black families, black health, and black economics. We're trying to put things into a science, a social science, because black people were destroyed using a social science. Yeah, it was a social science they used. Yeah, consistent, systematic social science. but nobody. Okay, you said that already. So yeah. So anyway, bro, Foster, we're gonna have to end the show very soon, and I know it takes time, but you can jump on any time, and if you want,
Yeah,
you can.
jump on, bro. You're definitely going
Yeah.
to be able to have your voice heard. We've
Yeah.
had people from Go Your Own Way and Diversity and all sorts on here who has allowed to have a voice. As long as you're not like swearing from the jump and just being disrespectful, your voice can be heard. Like, come on, you can't say that your voice can't be heard over here. You know, there's times where I know to stay in the chats because I know that the whoever he's got up deserves to have a voice. So with the people who are within the community or, you know, have the voice here. So you can't say that about Bro Raven here. I do think that, you know, it's probably from something that's happened with you and Brother Raven before, some sort of discourse where you felt that in his reply to you, he was sneak dissing you or being patronizing. Because it's, you know, unless it's about what we're actually promoting, then that's what it's coming off as just you have a personal disregard for him, and that, like what Raven said, is like,
Oh, so you're saying how with other people you feel might be that way with you? I think that's what he's saying. Well,
yeah,
bro,
he just said that he was actually okay with me when I went on. That's what I was thinking. So, you know, it's just seems like it's personal, but if you've got anything in regards to like what I've said to you before, you know, if you feel that, where is the line? I was going to ask you as well in regards to when is it okay to be pro Black love? When do you tip the line over to being anti interracial or hating interracial relationships? You know, or that question hasn't been answered, or even like what are the fundamental things that we go by here that you don't agree with? I know Raven's asked you a few times, you've not answered that. So it just seems like it's a personal thing, like Raven said, like not everyone's going to be able to take to everyone. You know, not everyone's for everyone. So
Yeah, of course.
but your opinion and your thoughts are definitely always like, you're never blocked. You know, your comments are always read out. I told you before, I asked my dad and uncles why they don't check Black women. And what did they say to you? Remind us again. I know you've got to go, bro. Just
go circle by circle.
I've never said I'm against Black love. I do remember him saying that before, that he's saying that he's not against Black love.
Oh, that's good.
But he's against us promoting Black love if he feels that we're stopping.
It offends you.
You know, I think because when Black men in mass go for white women in mass, we talk about issues, and I think he might conflate that on him or somehow. Some bees are about there's not being enough Black women about. Some bees are about
BS.
Oh right, BS. Good. Bees. All right.
It's about there not being enough Black women about. Oh, because I asked him, what did they say? And they say some BS about, yeah, that's a common thing, especially in the UK, right? Oh, I live in a multicultural city. London's different. There's no Black women about. That's why I said it's BS. Because it is BS. We know it.
Bro Foster, tell all the people you're describing that Raven has said that Black men have not recovered from being conquered by white men. Yeah, and he is on the process to recover. That's
one more question, bro.
Go ahead.
After you said that, please, can I ask him one more question?
Go ahead.
I do want him to answer that question that you said.
Yeah.
When he said I'm not against Black love, and then Brother Raven said, but are you against the promotion of Black love then? Because that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I would like that one answered. So go ahead, bro. I just wanted to put that one out to him because that was a good question. Because it's true. Because I think it does come back to what you've been saying. It's when it's the bad, isn't it? It's when it's if you're promoting Black love, then the bad intention does come into it, right? Because the B of the benefit is like the erasure of me. Okay, and there you have it. He doesn't promote Black love. He bashes interracial couples.
I don't see that response. Oh, here we go. He doesn't promote Black love. He bashes. Give me an example of bashing interracial. Tell me how am I bashing interracial couples? Well, what is it that I'm saying that's bashing? I'm saying that before you marry a white woman, or ask her, does she support reparations?
Good question. Like I was saying, yeah.
I don't see any promotion of black love, just hating on black men who check non-black women.
Did you see my question there, Foster? The main thing we say here is, does your woman support reparations? Well, the thing is, we start the show by saying collectively black people have no friends. Yeah, and black
There you
people
go.
are collectively inadequate. So if this is going on, a union that a person think is good is actually not in their best interest. Because if you're marrying into a group that doesn't respect you and they're not willing to pay reparations that help demonstrate that, then we're saying you're better off marrying a sister that needs you. Also, if you're a constructive black man and a sister saying she's struggling to find constructive black men, and then you then marry a non-black woman, that means you've deprived the black woman of a constructive black man. Yeah, it's just that simple to me. Maybe start a black speak. The thing is, all this maybe start. We are talking about the issue and doing campaigns. So this drive-by criticism that some people do, like, why don't you go to Africa? Why don't you start a day? It's like, no, we're doing this, isn't it? We're doing this, and it's obviously working because brothers like you seem to be somehow wired and triggered by black men loving black women and promoting that and saying it with chest. It's like
I just think
it's a fundamental importance. Go ahead, brother.
No, I just think it is. I think with mixed race, they just don't understand when it comes to dark skin. Like, I think he's mixed race. I think he doesn't understand the pressure.
Brother, what you said there is actually something we need to unpack. A person with one black parent, they might not actually understand what we're saying. Like, this is actually now someone hitting onto science. Like, actually, the motivation isn't there because they identify as one black parent, one white parent. So for us to discuss about the value of having two members of the community, it's almost like alien science. Maybe that's interesting. That would be good to unpack, innit? But here's
this is what happens when you separate yourself. Now, if you are separate of the black community, then you can't relate.
Yeah,
right?
you don't get it.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. This 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing.
One foot out. But I'm going to say the same thing I said before, that the black community is very kind. So even if you do not identify with the black community, look how many hours we've dedicated to your opinions and making sure that you feel best pleased with the answers that we give. This is a kindness you will not get anywhere else, because the people who define race, the people who enslave people and define race, they are your parents. And they create race categories, and they are your parents, but they won't let their children be a member of their racial group. Can you see what I'm saying? But yet the smoke isn't for them. The smoke is for the black people who your parents have defined their race, and they've defined the outcome of those people in mass. And we're saying that because we're at the very bottom, we want to work with other black members to fix it. And yet you guys have come in, and I say you guys, I mean Brother Foster, and that is how your first step is, what about this, and why can't this, and why are you talking against it?
But before they point the finger to you, it's just about it's just the way that you've done your media is just not of his taste, because for many reasons, right, that you've mentioned, a few reasons why it could be, but before you point the finger to that, you're definitely gonna have to point a few fingers to a few black brothers on social media, and the way that they promote this conversation, or even lack of, or the way that they promote their own women or themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, if in a way, and this is not personal to Foster, and I've been saying this, like, I appreciate his honesty, but he knows that we disagree. And like, to be honest with you, his reaction is good. If this is the reaction that it gives off to people who don't deem themselves within the community, it kind of means it works. I think that there is this kind of tension that's happening right now, like both continents, and even in like our continent and in our Caribbean and across the pond with our family as well. These kind of conversations are happening a lot. There is these kind of conversations that are happening, and I think if you, being a black man who is openly saying that, I'm for the promotion of this, gives off that reaction, then you know what that means. You're doing something right. So
that is very true, because no one's kicking down the door about the black health and the black economics for the most part. This obviously is an important topic, and it's obviously a change can be seen being had. Just so you know, when you say because black people are not making interracial relationship content apart from white nationals, what you have to understand is we've already established.
Exactly. Think about that though. Like look, think about your sentence though. They're not promoting anti-interracial relationships. No, they're not promoting black love neither.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what I mean about the perspective. Like, it's always going to be from that jump, Froster. Like, honestly, like, I'm talking to you on a real level. Your perception is from the off. You see how you wrote your sentence and how I saw that sentence. I'm looking at it from the black perspective of the white people are not promoting black love either, and I don't expect them to. I don't expect the media to not to do what they're not doing now. I do not expect them to do it. They are doing exactly what I expect them to do. That's what they should be doing. What should black people be doing, Foster?
I'm hoping that family who listen to this in a future time and who listen currently live, I want you to see the challenges that our community have. Whether it's one black parent, two black parent people, whatever it might be, this is a consistent theme, yeah. And that shows you that black love, black families are critical and important. It is the benchmark. It is how you produce people. It is how you produce a community, and it's a consistent system way of operating. It's a continuous. It's a self-giving, self-sustaining stuff. And what you see, the reason why Europeans today are not concerned about black men marrying their daughters because they know that is one of the ways that you can get black wealth back. If you don't believe me, look at the Native Indians in America, how the Europeans managed to get the land from the Native Americans by marrying the Asian woman and marrying Europeans, and now all the Indians are allegedly white. And then you see Argentina. In England, we've become that now, as in like black people can join temporarily other groups, and then their children marry Europeans, and before you know it, all the wealth is going from one community to another. And we've demonstrated that very, very consistently by a brother like what's the brother's name? I feel bad now. Quincy Jones, who grew up in a time where black people were hated and weren't allowed to marry Europeans. As soon as he was allowed to, he married not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. He had children with five women, married children, right? Yeah. So this is a man who grew up saying that black was ugly and you couldn't marry white people. Before he died, he had children with five white women. Yeah. And his children, on average, for the most part, are married to European white men, white people, whatever, right? So that shows you what we're talking about. This is
all that wealth, and he died, that 87 mil.
Yes. No, so each of his children get 80 million each. So when we were buying Michael Jackson's album and all that kind of stuff, that accumulated wealth for the producer, which is Quincy Jones, right? He's had enough money to give 80 million to each one of his kids, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 kids. Yeah, 7 kids, 80 million each is what they've got. Yeah, and most of them have children that started off with Europeans, whatever it is. So this is what we're talking about. I think people start talking about feelings and stuff, but if you want to know why black people are collectively inadequate,
exactly, look at the facts.
Yeah, it's like look at where we are. Look at our practices. Look at economically what happens. Look what continues to happen. Yeah, look at the decline, and look what people are saying. There is no harsh criticism about other groups. It's always black groups because we're easy targets. So, brother, I'm sorry, we're not going to change our tone, but know we are kind and know that you are loved. And when you come on, we're going to give you that work. You know, if you come on, you start saying stuff that doesn't work in black people's collective best interest, we're going to show you the data. We're not showing pictures of monkeys and go, oh, look, that's your uncle. Oh, look, that's what a white person is. No, sir. We're saying these are black people. These are choices they've made. And it's had this outcome on the black community. And it's consistent. It's a pattern. Yeah. It keeps happening. And then we show the history of it. Yeah.
He's replied, what does the average what wealth does the average black man have? Have you not watched Eli Wananda content? I'm sorry if I murdered that. I don't know who Eli Wananda is, but I'll definitely look it up. I don't know if you have, Bro Raven. No, and then he says you use outliers. What percentage of black men in the UK dating out have Quincy's dough? and George Lucas is a white billionaire who married a black woman. This is your problem, Raven. You watch trash TikTok videos instead of doing research with objective data.
Okay, so first of all, let's answer that. Eli Wakanda, big up that brother. He's a good brother. We've case studied many of his videos.
Oh, okay.
Everything we're saying, his data is in our data. So this brother, the things he's saying, we've put in here. Yeah.
Have you got a picture of him or something?
I'll do even better than that because remember we have facts there. So let me share. Let me quickly share this. Share. Oh, so there's.
Show him what it looks like with a black brother with facts, Raven. Show him.
So the brother you said we should listen to more of his show. I think it's this one here. Is it this one? There we go. Let me scroll it here. So this is the hold on. Whoops, it is. Give me 14 seconds to change that. It's Eli. That's the angry biracial guy. We're now going to click on it here. This is the Eli brother. So this brother, we've had many of his videos. Can you see him? Why black children need maths more than ever. Yeah, so let's read some of the comments, right? Yeah, why black children need maths more than ever. Behind the violence and the mental health. We need to talk about black boys in Britain. Understand UK drill. This brother is very critical, and he has facts he uses facts to back up what he's saying, and everything he's saying correlates with black betterment. Yeah, correlates everything he's saying. Yeah, the black graduate pay gap, how to vote away, Black British unite, why black folks get pushed out, success starts at home, black wealth in the UK, why happened to black marriage. So the cons of living in London. I left London for a better life. Ownership, building wealth and security. Right. This is what this is what the brother's talking about. Right. And he's also
the red, black, and green as well.
Red, black, and green. So clearly, we're going to be synchronized on things we deem. And he said himself, he's of African background, but it was living in London around the Caribbean community that got him Pan-Africanized. Right. So what I'm saying is, brother, maybe you want me to like whistle and something else when I speak or whatever, but I'm just going to say the facts, innit? And unfortunately, the facts makes you react that way. Eddie Wakanda is not making videos using trash content from TikTok. But mate,
watch his video on Black British middle class.
He
said Eli Wananda is not making videos using trash content for TikTok. Watch his video on the Black British middle class. But the thing is, right? They're both saying the same thing fundamentally. So you just don't like, you just don't like that the fact that the example that he uses are not for your taste. So when he shows examples and stuff like that, you're saying they're trash.
The brother might be overly. I'm saying that you will struggle to exist on these YouTube streets if you're that sensitive. Like you're dealing with a brother who is not swearing, who is not using derogative language, who is saying brother all the time and know you're loved.
What are they saying that they're not the same thing? He's saying they're not saying the same thing. So what is the difference between what Eli's saying and what brother Eli is saying and what brother Raven's saying? What's the difference?
I swear. Let's see. There's something about marriage here. Isn't it? Unity, push that success.
Does he talk about black love though, bro?
He says, what happened to black marriage? So the brother is, not many black Brits are married. Does it matter? So the brother, we looked at that show, that bigger show, and the brother says it does matter. Yeah?
Yeah, so, but is he talking about black love though?
Yeah, he is. He's talking about black men marrying black women.
Okay.
Yeah? And he says it's important. I remember that, man. We've actually had his video on here quite a few times. And I think Brother Dominic also puts a lot of his videos, promotes it as well.
Oh, come on, Brother Foster. It says Eli Wananda understands that Quincy Jones is an outlier and most black men here in the UK don't have wealth to transfer to white women.
Is he?
Oh, dear.
To be understand to transfer wealth, we're not talking about you have to be a billionaire, you know, just in general. Like we're talking about a general wealth that a family generates within their family structure.
Of course.
Like, where does that trickle down to if you date out?
Yeah,
that doesn't just stop at being a millionaire. It matters whether you're a millionaire. It matters whether you're a millionaire or on minimum wage.
If you're a black man and you marry a white woman, that means for a lifetime you're giving your wealth to the daughters of a white man. And that means a black woman is deprived of the chance of being given that wealth and that support for her lifetime. And then when that brother dies, everything he's worked for in his life gets inherited by the European or by whoever he's married, right? And this is basic stuff that the Asians, the Jewish, the Europeans will tell you. But once again, it's a hoo-ha. We're showing you constant facts about who people marry, yeah, whether it's mainstream or underground. The brothers, that same brother, shown you the Caribbean people.
He says white women earn more than black men in the UK.
What's
Right.
that going to do with it?
Exactly.
What's that going to do with it?
Does that change the outcome of what we're talking about, though, in regards to the wealth? Yeah. If the black man marries a white woman who's earning more than him, does somehow the wealth goes to the black community because of that?
Yeah,
the black woman's doing well in regards to the black men in the UK, in regards to probably degrees, in regards to education. We know that black women do better because of the certain institutionalized racism that black men have to suffer more in education. It hits them worse. So by that account, we could probably assume that black women are doing better than black men when it comes to like the working world. But that doesn't matter if they come together, because that wealth will still stay within the black community.
Can you not see the pictures the brothers put of constructed black families? Can you see on the screen?
Yeah, I see that.
This is his video. He's the one showing, look, the data here, because you can't hear it because audio or whatever, but he's showing you black Caribbean men dating at the lowest rate next to the African men. He's showing it. He's saying we've covered this before, and his other pictures is constructed black families. Yeah, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Yeah, we're 1,000% on the same page, right? Yeah. So you know, and look, he was showing like if the benefits of if you live in the same household,
cohabitating and being married.
Yeah, we've covered this before. So what I'm saying, brother, is I don't know. Like, here's what it is: you might indirectly be running defense for something else, like maybe Europeans or something. I don't know, but it's like, what I don't know what you expect a pro-black channel to talk about. If tomorrow 99% of black men don't marry black women, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show videos of it, and we're gonna try to change it. That's how it works. Like, it's important you understand that, like, that regardless of how nice I say things, we're never gonna not make black men love black women, because we understand that if black men don't love black women in mass, something is wrong. It's not a normal thing to happen.
Yeah,
and it is a byproduct of being conquered by our other group. Do you know what I'm saying? We have been conquered by other men, and we haven't recovered. Yeah. Now, it would be nice if brothers like you were on this side of the fence, but maybe that's impossible. Maybe you want your 1 feet on one side and 1 feet on the other side. Maybe you want to benefit from those things and then benefit from those things, isn't it? If that's what you're doing, so be it. But you're going to lose a lot of credibility in this argument. I respect pro-black channels that talk about black topics.
I expect a pro-black channel to talk about black topics and not be speaking about mixed race people every week. And this is what I say to you: you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? Because we was talking about colorism, and the mixed race conversation was interjected into it.
Of course.
So if we then now block the person of mixed heritage having a discussion or even having a voice in there, we're being anti. If we allow the conversation to happen, we're only talking about it.
We've had this before, and it's good analysis. The truth of the matter is, we've acknowledged that, unfortunately, no matter whatever challenge you mention, one of the biggest problems in the UK with black men is access to women in general. And many black men, because they want access to women, of all rainbow coalitions, whatever, they'll decide not to mention the importance of black love. They'll talk about racism going on and being beat by the police, and they might even talk about being healthy, and maybe they might even talk about black economics, right? But when it comes to asking, is it important that black men pick black women, they're church mouse on that one. This one, they plead the fifth. Yeah.
He said, I don't hear no mixed race this and that on Shakara's channel either. Big up, brother Shakara. But I think that, mixed race.
First of all, let me jump in. It's very important.
Yeah.
We don't talk about mixed race people. We're not interested in such definitions or such concepts, right? We talk about the black community and members of the black community marrying members of the black community, right? Now, like I said, if a black man is not married a member, yeah, then we're going to recommend they marry a member. Now, that member could be mixed race or black. That is your connection to the black community, that you're allowed to practice black betterment with everyone else and become a part of the community. If you didn't try to center yourself and then you set yourself as a mixed race person and say, how dare you talk about this and talk about that, yeah, then once again you are removing yourself from authority, innit? Yeah, you're removing yourself. And you big up brother Shakara. Yeah, and we don't do the Congress. Yeah, we of course we love Shakara. He's him and his Empress are regulars, and they pass by, and we talk all the time. So nothing. But either way, let's just say that even though I've heard brother speak about black love many times, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, too many times, right? Even when I tell him not today, he carries on. So we know that brother Shakara is all about black love. What is brother?
He is definitely for black love.
So
unapologetically, undisputably, he's very, and he will talk about it. Like that's a fact. But
you're practicing with
that.
He does also, but the thing is that. But brother Shakara doesn't have much people of mixed race heritage jumping on and interjecting the conversation either. If you're often over there as I am as well, and if the conversation, so that's just another thing to say, and I think they both are talking about, both channels are talking the promotion of a black community, the promotion of black love, black family. So yeah, we rate both channels over here. The more the better. So
yeah. Shakara is a brother that we speak to privately, and if anything he ever needs, and if anything the brother and his team need to promote black betterment and pro blackness and Pan Africanism, they know they can always come here, and vice versa. Now, like I said, brother, if you are troubled by us constantly promote black love and you say it's anti-mixed race, you should go to the other channels. But I suspect that's not the issue. I think you have something. The issue isn't with us. The issue is if the parentage. Yeah, you have to talk to your parentage about these challenges. We can't give you the solution you need. I never made your parents make this choice. But we're saying that in the world where these things have happened, people who are born of a biracial union are welcomed by the black community to be part of the black. This is very kind. This is like we're not saying why are you sabotaging what we're trying to do. We're still being kind even now. If you came with this energy in any other group, it will be a wrap. Yeah. So just recognize the kindness that we're displaying. Okay, well that's good, and you're not the only race, and we rate him as well.
Raven, you need to come to terms with your heritage. See, all of this now is just showing it for what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but you know what that means. What I'm saying is family.
You know what that means.
Yeah. So I say this to family. Whenever you really hit that, remember what I said, that everything was a chess game, right? When we start, we say don't use derogative terms. Make sure you put collective needs first and stick to the code. When you do that, you realize that how you start winning, that there's nothing they can say. Now, had I said something like, this person looks like a teddy bear, his feet is the size of an elephant, what would happen? Goes, oh man, you keep making fun of my feet and you keep making fun of elephants. And that's what we talk about. The brother is successful in taking the topic away from the needs of black women and put it on the pretend needs of the so-called biracial community. Can you see what's happening? Yeah. And the reason we've entertained it is because it's a very important case study of what happens. And now
it continues to happen. Exactly.
And now that the brother cannot actually deliver anything, he's now moving on to different topics and trying to be personal and saying, you're this, you're that. And maybe he wants me to join his golden community. I don't know whatever the
Raven thinks we're joining your golden community, bro.
I won't be doing that. Yeah.
That is fully black betterment through and through, and he don't even bleed blood. He breeds black betterment.
There you go. Yeah, so it's not gonna happen yet, but one day, brother, maybe not now, maybe not in 2 years, but one day you're gonna see the value, of practicing black Burman and being connected to the community as a whole, and you can remove your one foot from the other side and put both feet into the black Burman side.
Yeah, the pool's beautiful. You can dip both feet in. It's all right.
No, Brother Foster. What I was saying, and I said the same to all people, is I can't give you the reasons. You know, like your parentage, your lineage, choices were made. So I can't say right or wrong, left or right. I'm saying you have to talk to them. But regardless of what choices they've made, yeah, we have to do what we're doing for black people, and you are welcome to join. You're welcome to join. Yeah, but it's to them you must talk. If there's anything you disagree, you find uncomfortable, it's your parents you have to talk to, not us. Yeah, you have to. We've seen it. You have to go. This is to someone else, whatever. You have to go, Dad. Why did you not raise me this way? Or Mom, why did you marry into the family and not support reparations? I can't answer those questions. Yeah, I can't answer those questions. Only they can. Only people who have that has happened. But what we can do here is, as a black community, we can say historically and today, we're welcoming on people with one black parentage, and we understand that some might try to sabotage, just like people with two black parentage. However, these are the rules, and the rules are we're never not going to support the constructive black man being the constructive black woman. It makes absolutely no sense to not speak about that. And when we talk about that, we are not talking about the offspring. We are talking about the choices a member of the community makes to pick a life partner, because we want black men to recover from being conquered by white men. You're not a product of grape.
It says you're the product of grape. It says you're the product of grape. Right. I'm not. I don't have the same challenges as
so,
you.
So I don't know what you know what you mean by that. But what I would say this, right, is your parents has made a conscious choice to be together. So any racism that so if you've come on and you said, you know what, when I went to my parents' house, there was lots of racism towards the white side being racist to me.
It's clarified. Hold on, bro. Before you go on, you said you're mixed because of historical grape. I don't have the same internal conflict, and brown skin black men as I'm assuming he says I don't have the same internal conflict as brown skin black men like you.
Right. So I'll continue what I was saying. So you thanks for that. You would have to, you have to actually talk to those parents and say, why is it that we came together when half my family despised me? And how comes you were bringing me around people who despise me? How comes, you didn't prepare me for a world? Or how comes you didn't train me to be synchronized with black people or whoever people so I could find a consistent something to do so I don't have to make up things like gold people or whatever it is and then jump on platforms, whatever. That's not for us to say. Now, in regards to the brutality that black women face, so you're right. European men, brutalize African women, right? And that happened to the majority, unfortunately, of people in the diaspora, all right? But like I said, because that happened, as many things happen, we stay dedicated to the black family, yeah? So we're not going to swear off that. Now, you're saying, look, the problem is European men force themselves on your women, but today we have nice European men and women who have willingly married a black person. Well, that's really cool. And if that makes you feel good, 10 points for that. However, if you want to join any black B1, black Betterment, Pan-African, any kind of concept, you have to have your foot in black Betterment. You have to have your I am here to help black people improve. Why is
both
that?
Feet, 10 toes down.
Here's why. Because your European parent that you're talking about so much, the European lineage, whatever it is, they have dominated the African one. You see? And black men, your father, whoever it is, have not recovered from being dominated. You see? Yeah. So that's why we have. So that's why no matter what you say, it will never resonate or hurt or anything, because we're here about collective black betterment. There's no horrible thing you could say about black people that we don't know, because we're at the bottom of the league because of the people that you're propping up, the people that you want to have one foot in, one foot out with, right? So we see it as a psychosis, we see it as a confusion, but out of kindness, know your love, we still offer you a plate, and we'll say that when you're ready, become constructive and practice black betterment. This is a kind thing. You will not be offered this by the conquerors of black men. They will not offer you a space. Even though they gave you the definitions, they will not let their offspring be a part, you see, because they know that you will run defense for them. I don't know. Well, I said what I've said. You're always welcome to jump in, but I'm saying this, right? that we're gonna have to end soon because I want these fruitful shows to go on. But just to recap, this is about colorism and how we want to fix it for Black women and their experiences, and we want to try to, as the years go by, recondition Black men to start seeing self-love and then seeing love in their community, and then seeing love of their women, and then maximize them picking Black women, especially women who look more like them. This is what we're about, and unfortunately, you're on it. You're not a builder. Once again, like I said, there's things I've said that's upset you, right? And that means I must be saying something that's good, because once again, there's no insults coming from this side, just facts. And you haven't been able to rebuke or challenge any of the facts we've said. I've asked you, who is in a collectively superior position, the white man or the Black man? You've never been able to say the Black man. Yeah. Everybody knows that Black people have not recovered from the butchery that's happened to us, but yet you are here trying to delay, annihilate, and have others benefit from our actions. Other people will call that treasonous. I'm not calling it treasonous. I'm saying that unfortunately you have been conditioned to play defense for the Europeans. You've been conditioned to running and be a buffer class and try to say, do this, do that, right? And have complaints where there is no complaints. But regardless of you doing that, know you are loved. I know that when you're ready to reform, there's a place for you, and there's a nice Black woman you can marry. There you go. I pay my £12 YouTube to be entertained. I don't know what that means, but you do. So when you get time, you can jump on and let us know that joke you dropped there. And it's $12.99. That's very good. Very good for you. Once again, family, this has been a good case study of a person of mixed heritage playing defense for the thing. Why you for us? If you're my brother Dominic, he asked his final question before you go. Why are you on this broadcast for us? If you don't mind me asking, do you want to let the brother Dominic know why you're on there?
It would be interesting, especially because you don't class yourself as the Black community.
Yeah, he could be running defense for other groups, or he could have what we call the self-sabotage switch.
The buffer thing that you dropped there. It's a shame never dropped that in earlier as well, because I think that's a big point to the conversation in regards to our relations.
Yes.
That buffer class.
Yes, and this is something that we spoke about. I know he's not best pleased to hear it, but unfortunately, the facts seem to speak for themselves. Some people think we waste our time when we talk to some people, but we're always doing case studies, and we always use this as collective info to confirm things that we already knew, and it is important. But despite that, we always must be have a forgiveness to give to all the members of the community, because they know not what they do. Because we live in the era, you see, where left is right and right is wrong. All this kind of stuff. It's
Error, boy.
We are
and
in the era.
He's here because Raven is entertaining, and it's mad that like the promotion of Black people talking about, you know, the stuff that Black women have to go through is a form of entertainment. And you know, it's always, you must not feel part of a community if you're hearing some of the strides or the stuff that we want to work on, or we're talking about all our frustrations as entertainment. Then you see it, you just show what you said, that how you feel that you're not a part of this community, and it's a form of entertainment. And I think that should justify to you why certain people in the community says that this is a conversation driven topic, and why if people feel that they're not within the community, they shouldn't talk on it, because it's just entertainment. You don't have no skin in the game really. And you know, you're just there to troll. So it's a testament for other people of mixed heritage to see why certain people have this kind of resolute now going forward, that once we're conversating on certain things, you have to be classed as an outside. You have to look at them how you'd look at any person else who's from a different community, as they like to exit themselves as. That is and I'm referring to the mixed race. I'm referring to the mixed heritage person who refers to themselves as mixed heritage and not as Black.
No, I actually agree with that. I agree with it in the sense of they're coming with a 2 foot in, 1 foot in, 1 foot in ideology. They want you to know how important their European or their Arab side is, and you're like, and this is going to sound very harsh, and I mean it in the most correct way. We don't care. Like
Exactly.
it makes no sense to come into a place where we recognize we're at the bottom and we're extending our hand to be kind and generous, and yet someone wants to have a 2-minute dialogue about why they love Europeans or why they want to help Europeans. Once again, before we go, we will show the two. What are the two major methods of mistreating, marginalizing, and massacring black
And
people?
remember, just before you do that, bro, remember we have people within our own community that will do that. Like there'll be a full black discussion, and there will be that one black person that has to jump on and be like, "Well, let's not forget about the white person. Let's not forget about the great white person." Do you know what I mean? It's like, wow.
But remember,
you really need to minimize this.
I'm talking about members. So the mixed black person and the 2-parent black person,
Literally,
they're both members in the same thing. But I'm saying here is the challenge we're dealing with. Racial segregation was one strategy, and racial whitening is one strategy. And today we've been talking about the racial whitening technique, innit? So these racial whitening techniques have been used to undermine black people. And you can see racial whitening, Ham's redemption, castration, anti-black propaganda, no positive black family depictions, interracial marriage miscegenation, black features erasure, shade-based upwards social mobility, what changed? White Arab identified, eugenics, blah, blah, blah. So this is what we're dealing with, racial whitening as a tool to destroy black people, right? We've seen it in Brazil, we've seen it in Argentina, and the UK, as what brother said, look at the Eli Wakanda brother. He's shown you that the decline of one class and how you will go from what they call the black class to what they call the mixed black class to then the racial the white passing class, then the white part class. That's how it happens. You see. This sounds like some kind of eugenics theory, but it's not. It's something that Europeans have set up. And I'm saying that's a biological thing you talk about, but the economics is no different. The wealth transfers from one community to the other community, right? And unfortunately, through these processes, black people are losing self-esteem as well as ownership. See, we're losing a lot. So that's why, regardless of what the brother says, regardless of how much he tries to turn things around, nothing is more important than a constructive black man with a constructive black woman. It is more important than anything you want to talk. And the fact is, if I'm the only one talking about it, then that shows you how fully conquered we are in the community, where this basic principle isn't even a value. It isn't even a value. It shows you.
It's like you're just showing your confusion, Foster. Like you just prove more, you give more argument to like the fact of like you're just not gonna be able to understand because you're not just because of your setup. Like it does bring an argument to that, because it's like UK is a white country. You keep talking like you're in your home, and a white man is trying to breed you out. So again, like this thing about you're in your home, you have to go back to our country. Like again, like do you know who you sound like?
And also, before you jump on, you've already highlighted that the brother is being raised by Europeans and Africans or blacks and whites or Caribbean, whatever it might be, right? And unfortunately, the white supremacist ideology is what him. You see, this is what it is, because that talking point is not a member of our community
at all.
At all.
Like even the whole absolutely, you're right, bro. Exactly. Thank you for that. Exactly. And even the whole structure of the sentence is wrong, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep talking like the white man is trying to breed you out. Again, we don't center anybody else but ourselves. Raven you literally just said that Raven's bashing black man. Raven puts the onus and the responsibility of black men and black women. Again, we're not talking about those people. You're centering those people. As the man that Raven showed, who was centering himself because his mixed heritage sensibilities were hurt. Everybody else is centering themselves in our conversation. And when the heat hits them, they say, well, that's all you're talking about. No, we were minding our own business. You came into our conversation. And that's why Raven's constantly saying, we're the only race that will allow you to do that. And this is what we get for it.
Yeah. So once again, the case study works. You let a person talk and they show you their surroundings, and we have sorrow that you've had to go through that you've you've taken that and you projected on yourself, and now you're projecting it in the group. But I say this: when Europeans go to Kenya or Spain or Portugal, wherever it is, wherever they are, they have a way to thrive as Europeans and to own as Europeans. There are people born in Kenya who identify as English because they have 2 English parents and they have a passport in England already, right? Famous people, right? They know what they're doing, as even though they are the minority. So how is it that Europeans can thrive as minorities in other lands and do their own thing, but yet in the UK it's you can't do, you have to leave, and this is a white man's country. Yeah, South Africa is a black man's country, but the white man owns 80% of the resources.
Literally.
So once again, this is what I'm saying about being unsynchronized and being educated by people who don't like black people. This was, and don't get me wrong, brother. This is it isn't the fact
even enabling them to come into the conversation because it's just a walking, talking confusion. Like,
yeah, it is. But once again, family, you're listening. We're gonna go soon, but this, and we're gonna go in like 2 minutes or so. But this, this is the case study we do. We're demonstrating live the self-hatred that lingers within the community, and we highlight. So sometimes the connection to non-black people, either in parentage, will do that. Sometimes it's marriage. Sometimes you might be married into a community, and then because you married the community, i.e., black man, white woman, whatever, you then pick up certain traits. Or maybe you're married because you've been raised on European media and you're Euro-centered and you're Afro-centered, and that's what it is. These are the challenges that we face. But I want us to, even though it might be hard at times, show these brothers and sisters love, because they know not what they do. They actually know what they're doing. They have no idea that they're actually trying to sabotage black progress. I think they generally think that what they're doing is beneficial. I think they think they're doing some kind of humanitarian act. Like, you stop making fun of the Europeans or the so-called mixed races. It's like all this kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, but at no point is there any emphasis on the value of black economics, black health, and black families. There's not even mentioned. It's not even like, well, I rate that, or I understand why you're doing that. No, sir. So the basics of how to survive day to day is demonized. The basics. Can you see that? And this is what you have to observe when you're talking to unsynchronized black men. The fact that you can't even get unsynchronized black men to value the basics. The basics of who you pick, where your money goes, and your health. These, even that has to be a wayward contribution to other groups.
But do you know what? Those same people will bash black people talking about, where's your wealth? Why? Look at the state of your family. Do you understand? And we're literally talking about factors that would help that. We can't sit there and bash the fact that there's no wealth within the community. We're always starting at zero with the next generation. Where is the businesses? Where is the wealth? How come when you have to go and get black food or black hair products, you're going to another community? You will literally bash us about this. Oh, there's something like inherently lazy, or something must be wrong with them because why are you at the bottom? Because they have to not look at the supremacy angle, right? So there must be something wrong if we're going through their dumb, like that mentality, right? And yet when you have someone saying, okay, let's do something in order to fix it, i.e. stick together in a family, keep the wealth within the family, make that wealth go down to the next generation, so that spreads, so that lasts, that's a problem. So I'm telling you, bro, they want to continue. I'm not saying this is him, but the supremacy mindset that he is is injecting into him some way, because he's using their rhetoric, right, is the fact of, I want to see you low. There has to be a low at this capitalistic board game that we're playing at. Someone has to be at the bottom, and we like to see you blacks there. Do you understand? But just as a stick to make myself feel for the everyday guy to feel better, they'll still bash and be like, look at your community. Why are you always so angry? Why are your kids always stabbing each other? Why don't you own anything? There's a China shop. The Asian man's doing well. Do you understand? And as soon as the brother says, well, let's come together and do something, why do you want to go and do that? You're racist. Why do you want to build up your thing? Like, I swear to God, the day we stop trying to appease these people and ignore them and just stead forward like everybody else is doing right now. Look what's happening in the Jewish and Palestine. If you've never seen these communities do not care what anybody thinks right now. Everyone is just self-focused. It is so evident. Russia, Ukraine, US, like Israel, like. But yet when it comes to us, this supremacy thing that they've done, bro, it's just literally, there's nothing like it. Like when it comes to us.
And sister, that I'm going to end by saying this. That's why I promote the concept of open door elitism, meaning black people who want to help with black people and they uphold black families, black health, and black economics, sticking together in a smaller number. And this is the qualifying. You have to actually agree to those three things. Because if you don't, you will have a person who's going to be punching holes in the ship everywhere you go. Now you are the open door elite, meaning we are working on the collective benefit of all the members. But unfortunately, not everyone will be able to join because their mind has already been conditioned to be self-sabotaging. And hopefully we'll demonstrate that. Now we understand that brother doesn't identify as black and he shouldn't have to and he shouldn't and whatever. So I'm going to call you mixed black so we know that you do have a black parent, and that is correct, right? And remember, it's through your black parent that we're talking to you. Because if he wasn't married to a black parent, why would we be talking to you? But why would you have even half an opinion? So this guy, I don't identify as black. When I say black people or black men, I'm talking about the collective, greater collective in it. So I'm including W.E.D. Du Bois and Bob Marley and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and Toussaint Overture and every people with different parentage and different, some this, some that, but some not. You see, back when they were catching hell, they knew who black people were.
Who they were. Exactly.
There was no. I have the freedom now. The white man is not kicking me as hard, so I'm now going to identify as mixed. I'm a mulatto, whatever. Cool, that's good. Do you want? Yeah. I'm saying that we haven't recovered from that collective beating, and we include the diasporan, the Afro descendant, the mixed heritage, the one black parent, the black man, the man who doesn't identify as colors, or whatever, because when they see you, and when we see you, we see you, and we know what we can see, and they know where they can see, and we know where we're at, right? And we're not at the top, we're at the bottom. So we have to have actions to get us from the bottom to a more comfortable position so our children, black men marrying black women, have a better life. Simple as that.
I said, you're not in the plantation anymore.
White supremacist mindset.
Exactly. And for a brother that doesn't consider yourself within the community, you have a lot of affiliation to the community, Foster. You watch the community, you're interested about the community, you don't even just watch the cliche stereotypical part. You're talking about a Pan-African conference in Gambia for a man who is not interested in the black community. You see it? And this is what I'm saying, like, it's this one step in and one step out, and we've literally given you, if you say you're black, we don't have a problem, but it's like you don't want to be a part of it, but there's something pulling you there, and these are these internal problems that, as to be frank, is not our problem, right? And it's going to be delaying us, and it's actually causing more conflicts and confusion, especially around those who do not have any kind of confusion of how they stand. You're from mixed heritage as well.
Let me say this: we're going to have conferences, and the left of me will be a person with one black parent, and they will not be confused on what they're dedicated to. Exactly. And what I mean? Outside the building will be a person with one black parent there'll be a person with two black parents who is one who's light skinned, one who's dark skinned.
Exactly.
It's the ideology of, are you going to put black people's needs first? Are you going to run defense for non-black people and try to delay time? And family, we're going to go now, but
and that's not even solely down to your heritage, as you said, but
it is
like your ideology.
You're a member of the community, brother, whether you like it or not, and that's whatever. But we're saying that we have seen so many people from whether they're from Africa or the Caribbean or America, or they've got one black parent, they have white supremacist ideology. They've been trained to be self-hating through the history of anti-black racism. You see,
and as we want to eliminate those who do it with mixed heritage, we literally want to do the same who have got two full melanated. We are the first ones to say that they're the first that have to go. Do you understand? So with us, it's literally over here, like what Brother Raven says, it's across the board around here.
We have more mercy, and not to be harsh to anyone else, but I can understand why one white parent might have white supremacist ideology in their upbringing. You know what I mean?
Compared to a brother that's grown up in a full, exactly.
Exactly. So we're going to, by saying this, the triple tragedy.
Thank you for ending with that, bro. Like, I really appreciate you tying that in, because that just eliminates anything to be said on that, because that needs to be the facts. And I think that that's what's apparent, and this is what I was saying about the constant conversation that is happening. And this is why I tied it into the two black brothers that got mentioned, and you know, the whole Drake thing, and this conversation is constantly coming up, whether it's the sellout black or the mixed heritage person who's coming in on a different angle. The way they equally are getting this smoke, you know.
Let me say,
and I'm so happy that you made that clear, because it's about the
let me add to that smoke to Brother Foster, who's trying to say you guys are conquered, not me. I'm saying that, you know, bro, that regardless of what you identified, you are conquered by the European. Yeah, you are in the same boat as us, unfortunately or fortunately, depending how you want to see it, right? And the reason why you're going through all these identity and self-sabotaging problems is because you have not recovered from being conquered. You see, you are part of the collective. Yeah. This is a byproduct of not being of being conquered. You understand? Yeah, that's why you're here. The behavior patterns you're doing is highlighting the conquered mentality. You're self-sabotaging the black panel, but you're nowhere seen on the white panel, and your verbiage is white supremacist approved. Your verbiage is white supremacist approved. You have an A star. A star. So you're
the golden boy right now. You're saying all of the top lyrics. They are loving this song that you keep repeating. Like, they love it. They're your biggest supporters right now.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna end the show, but you can come back for part 2. I understand you got a European mum, and you say I didn't internalize all. No, you've already told us that you would go to your European household and they would mistreat you consistently, and because you are identified as not white and had black in you. And that made you not white, and that was enough to be mistreated. And what you've done here, you haven't come here and go, you know what? Because of the mistreatment of how I feel about how white people have treated me, and they've called me black and treat me like black, I'm going to unify with the other blacks so we can overcome this. You decide to run defense for them. So this is a conquered mentality. You see, that's what it is. If you don't want to have a conquered mentality, you would then say, I'm going to separate myself from them, put both feet in black betterment. So you are demonstrating the ideology we're talking about. Thank you very much. Family, we're going to say thank you to Brother King Koja and Empress Kush. Everyone say thank you, Black Betterment. And we also have to give thanks to Brother Dominic for the consistent help. And we big up Everything is Everything. And a very special thank you to Brother Foster. He is loved. And whether he knows it or not, the case study he allows us to do makes us improve the channel so we can speak to people more sharply and directly to get to the point. So we thank you, Brother Foster, for your consistent contributions and letting us know about where you're at mentally when it comes to white supremacy. Thank you very much, brother, right? But for everyone else, Black Betterment, and any last things you'd like to say, King Kojo or Empress, before we go?
I think you left it sweet like that. We should leave it on that point there.
All right. So if that's the case, big up to everyone. Bye to all Black Betterment and to all Black Betterment. Check you next week. There you go. Hope we have a good Kwanzaa. There you go. Have a good one. Peace.